All right, we are back.
Let's go.
It's been a while.
Yeah, 3 weeks, right?
It's been a while. Last time we were patting our own back at how good we've been at
Like a
doing this
consistent
every
2 weeks.
every 2 weeks, and then we hit the July 4th holiday. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
You know,
People are away, but
had to hit the beach for a bit.
I'm so pumped to be doing this today though, because I was so ready even for like a new audiobook. I've been struggling the last couple of days not having one.
Yeah, I'm pumped to get some new books on tap
Yeah,
because we've had these ones in the chamber for a bit.
but these two, I think what also hurt me is sometimes like I could have used the extra week. This time, I was done plenty of time in advance because they were really, I think,
You
two really good books.
you read fast
Pretty quick.
this time. I guess
Yeah.
I'm tracking your audio progress, trying to make sure I'm keeping up. And deep. The first day you were like almost halfway done.
I liked it and I found it really easy to listen to.
Is it a book club first today as well? Because I think it is. Two books, two authors that we've already read books for.
Oh wow.
Two repeats.
Not bad.
Authors, not books.
Yeah. And I think what was the other book that Patrick O'Keefe did?
He was Empire of Pain,
No, was he?
I think.
Wow, okay.
That's
I wish I knew that going into it. It might change my rating.
because you know what he's capable of. Um, because so we have Deep and Say Nothing. And Deep was written by James Nestor.
He did
He
Breath.
did Breath, which is one and two on our top 10 list.
Yeah.
And Empire of Pain, I think, might have even made some of our lists or was right there. Like that's a 5-star book.
Yeah,
So
we
it's two
love.
5-star authors.
And now that you mention it, this was pretty dense, this book.
Mm.
Um, and Empire Pain was really dense as well. Just like, we had 400 pages on, an old art collection.
True. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I think really well written. I think both books, which makes sense considering
yeah.
you've liked some of their other books.
I mean, it's Sunday morning. It's 85 degrees. We got our red wine and plastic cups
Warming in the car on the way over
that
here.
we're sitting in, in the
Yeah.
trunk for who knows how long.
It's almost hot,
And
this one.
I don't remember last time, like a time I've had red wine in the day earlier than just right now.
I think we've done a couple really early ones. I don't know if
Yeah.
this is the earliest.
Well, I think in my head I was like I thought we were start at 10.
10,
And
yeah.
I was that's pretty early for right
Yeah.
there.
That is, yeah, that was an ambitious timing.
I like it though. Like
Yeah,
why not?
I know.
What's the point of waiting? Then you have less time to recover for the next day.
Yeah,
Now it's like after this, if I
get some food.
have some food, maybe one or two more drinks,
Yep,
and then you start hydrating.
love it.
Um, but with that, do we say deep first?
Yeah, let's get into
Okay.
deep.
And do you want to start initial thoughts? So
So,
I'll pull up the full title here
yeah,
because it deserves its recognition.
so I think really, I would imagine he wrote this before Breath, if I had to.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, and I think this kind of like steered him into Breath because had a lot of like similarities and just like the power of like breathing and the positive benefits of holding your breath and that type of thing. And I would imagine that that then led him into being like, let me just focus on breathing.
I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, but
So,
he was a little bit all over the place in this book, I thought, in terms of like, if you were to say, what is it about? It's a little bit about breathing.
hmm
It's a little bit about free diving.
Yep.
It's a little bit about sperm
Oh
whales.
yeah.
It's a little bit about like being a scientist in the ocean.
Yeah, just like the ocean in general,
Yeah, the ocean in general.
dolphins,
Yeah.
um, like life, how life is the deeper you go.
Fun facts about water and like how
Yeah.
weird things happen in water
Which,
that we can't otherwise
yeah.
explain. So it was a little bit all over the place, which is why I think Breath ultimately was better because he really just like picked one thing and then like got into the
Mm,
weeds with it. But I really enjoyed it.
yeah. So the full title is Deep Freediving, Renegade Science, and What the Ocean Tells Us About Ourselves by James Nestor. And yeah, I actually agree with a lot of that. Like, I didn't mind that it was a little bit more about different stuff because
Yeah,
all the stuff, it was all
was
good
very
stuff.
interesting.
So,
Yeah.
like, you can switch to all different things if it's all good things.
Yeah.
Like, I'll listen all day.
Yeah, it didn't have as much like you were in Cape May, and my first question was like, did you try any free diving in Cape May?
So, free diving is so hard. It's
Yeah,
impossible. I went into the water. So first we see just like so many dolphins. So first thing I'm thinking is I'm gonna go talk to these dolphins. 'Cause that's now that I know how to do that,
Yeah, of
and the echolocation,
course.
clicks, and everything like that,
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in. So I put the stuff down. Everyone is still like getting all set up and everything, and I sprinted
Towards the
to the
dolphins.
water. Hey, how are you? Sprinted towards the water, dove in, and I was like, all right, let me gather my breath.
Yeah.
I know how to do that.
I'll go down 50 feet.
I'm
That's all.
gonna first try. I'll probably get 50 feet.
Yeah.
I like went down under, and it's like I barely got underwater. It's so hard with
D-
the waves and everything
Oh,
to
yeah.
like. First of all, it's so scary.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, no one is with me. No one's watching me. I'm also able to stand.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to test my free diving, but I was like, let me go under and just see like if I could swim around and like stay under a long time.
Yeah.
It's so hard in the ocean. I
Yeah.
think I got like maybe 10 seconds.
Yeah. And
And
even in the book, he kind of it's different than breath because in breath you would want to try these things. Like the breathing was to like eliminate illness and like
calm your heart
cleanse,
rate.
yeah, calm your heart, get rid of anxiety, like, fight diseases even, like,
Yeah.
all positive things with almost like no risk. Like taping your mouth really isn't like a big risk.
Hmm.
And then with this, it seemed like the complete opposite. It seemed like everything he almost like recommended, I was just like, that sounds incredibly dangerous. Where it's like the free diving is like if you go too far down and then come up too quickly, like you probably pass
Yeah.
out and drown.
Yeah.
If you like a good way to practice is just like holding your breath underneath water, like for as long as you can, but you also might pass out and drown, so you gotta have a spotter. And then he's like, you can even walk around your house just holding your breath for as long as you can, but you shouldn't be walking around. You should be seated in case you pass out and fall and hit your head. It's like
Yeah.
all these things don't sound like,
You have to really train and to actually do the actual free diving.
yeah,
But I was shocked just like going under in the ocean for like any extended period of time. Like when I'm at the beach, like I'm going under waves, I'm going over waves.
yeah,
I'm pretty nimble out there.
yeah,
The minute you start to like really be like, I'm gonna try to stay under,
yeah.
I don't know if it was just in my head where I was like, no, I was
It's
like,
forcing you up.
but it was forcing me up, and I was like, I got scared, and I was like, I had to come up.
Yeah,
And then the last thing I was trying was, I was like, I'm gonna go under as long as I can. I'm gonna listen, see if I can hear these dolphins clicking,
I like that.
right? So I go under, I'm only able to stay for like 10 seconds. And I was like, I hear these dolphins. Like, this is so sick. And I get up and I realized that it was like a group of 5 12-year-old girls next to me above the water, like laughing. And I
Uh,
was hearing that laughter underneath. So I heard
That's not your fault though. You're
that,
picking up
like,
what was being put
I
out.
think if you're at the beach, you have to respect that people are trying to talk with dolphins, and
Yeah,
you can't be
making all that
if
noise.
you're in the ocean, you have to be silent. You,
Yeah, no, that's a complication that you don't need. That's the
yeah.
problem with a lot of these, like the free diving and like that type of stuff. Like I told you, I really like that movie, and like one of the weirdest movies ever was like My Octopus Teacher, about the guy whose like
Mm.
son hates him, and he's just like, let me go in my backyard and let me just like hang out with these octopus in their natural habitat. And it's just like, yeah, I'd love that too if I had a house on the beach
Yep.
with like no neighbors and like a personal beach in like South Africa or like wherever the hell he was. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
It,
But most people don't have access to that.
the problem is the access here. Like, if I was growing up on the beach every day, I'd probably be a lot more comfortable swimming around a bit in the ocean by myself.
And you would kind of know the spots where you're gonna be like totally alone with dolphins.
Right. That's the thing. It's like if I was more confident, I would have saw the dolphins and swam out. So like,
Yeah.
hey guys, what's up? Good to see you.
Yeah.
Done some clicks underwater.
Yeah.
But instead, I'm like hanging out with 12-year-old girls, being too scared to hold my breath for too
Yeah.
long. And I ran back and I still sat on the blanket and started telling everyone about sperm whales.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to hear that.
No.
But,
They never do.
but I guess like book wise, agree. Like James Nestor is a 5-star. He's a 5-star guy.
He
He's a
is.
5-star author.
That was
I've
a
met
note
him.
that I was just looking
I've
at.
talked about
It's
the time he came
he's just the man.
and did a talk at work, and I saw it, and I kind of met him, kind of was a little bit too nervous to talk to him, didn't want to
Yeah.
bother him. 'Cause great suit. He was
Oh
looking
yeah,
sharp,
yeah.
presented himself well. There were some technical issues. He handled it like
Not a
no
problem.
problem at all. He's a 5-star guy,
He is.
and I actually like the way he broke down the book into like each chapter was a different depth. Like
Yeah.
that, it just felt cool going through it
But it
because
didn't always like totally translate
he almost didn't talk about the depth,
at
like he a
all.
little bit, and
Yeah.
then he would kind of bounce
Like
around.
I guess that's where the sperm whales and some of those things come in is like,
Mm,
that they can go to that level of depth,
yeah,
but then it just becomes about like sperm
and he
whales.
also tied it in with like his own experience. So
Which
like
is like yeah, he really dives in
I
like
give him all the
to
credit.
all the books that he
He's
does.
not just like researching something, like he's doing it, like
Yeah.
in breath. And in this, like he was doing all the breath work. And in this one, he's like, I'm gonna go cover. Like I think originally he was supposed to cover this freediving competition,
Yeah.
and he goes to it, and he's like, oh, this is like really crazy what the people are able to do, and like what's actually happening here. Like I want to find out more about this. And he
Yeah.
was like, so I'm just gonna learn to like freedive. And
Yeah.
now this is like the story of his journey on that freediving, like
Like mixed in throughout the book.
yeah, and he does like all this cool stuff that he um like it explains in detail in the book.
Yeah.
So like the competition was insane.
So yeah, let's start there. Just like free diving in
So
general
free diving
and what
is
it is.
essentially like what people go and just dive as down as deep as they can, but it's with no equipment.
So they follow like a rope all the way down.
Nice little spider action
Let's
here.
get this guy out of here.
He's gonna protect us though from some of the other bugs, so we
Yeah.
don't want to hit him too hard.
Um, so I think you just follow rope all the way down and then you like get to a certain depth and then you like either pull a flag or like put your flag there or
Mm.
something like that and then you have to swim back up.
Yeah, so that's a competition where it's like
And whoever goes the
yeah,
farthest wins and then that's like free diving. But there's like a bunch of different variations on it.
so there's like the free diving competitions where people are like, I want to go 200 meters, I want to go 300 meters,
Yeah.
whatever the number is. And then there's like free divers that are using it for like research purposes because when you're in all the scuba gear, you're like disrupting everything around you. So things, other fish and stuff don't interact with you normally.
Yeah.
But if you're free diving, they're like super chill with you. So like they'll come
Yeah.
right up to you and you can actually see them and stuff. So it's like really good for research.
Which is
And
really cool. I've seen some people do like some spear fishing and like things like that where they dive down, they just like chill down
I
there. Like
can't wait to get into some of that stuff.
yeah, like does
Mm.
seem like completely
Yeah.
awesome.
So he goes to this competition and you dive down and like the coolest part about the freediving is like what your body does as you go down into the deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Your body like adjusts because the pressure gets so crazy that if you were wearing scuba gear, I think it going down like that, like you would just explode into a billion pieces, but
Yeah.
from the pressure. But when you go down without anything, your body knows how to like adapt where your
With more
lungs
nitrogen in your blood,
get
right?
your lungs shrink to the size of baseballs. All the blood from your extremities leaves and goes to like only support like vital processes. And like yeah, like all the nitrogen in your body like changes or something.
Yeah.
So that way you can handle the pressure,
Which is like absurd
which makes no sense that like we like the capabilities that humans probably have that we don't
with water,
know
yeah.
or use at all is crazy.
Well,
Like
I think that's an adaptation that's really gone the wrong way. Like
yeah,
we've
we're
like our
losing that.
yes, our brains have definitely adapted over the years to become like more intelligent and not necessarily ours, but people in
Just
general. Yeah.
as we're here with
Yeah.
our plastic cups.
But I think like the opposite has happened with water. Whereas like humans probably were once much better swimmers and more
A-
natural and
Anything nature related, we're probably losing those
even
abilities.
like the webbing, I wouldn't be shocked
The feet, yeah.
if like earliest versions of humans, and we do want to get into some of those like anthropology books, but like
Mm.
I don't think that would show like if their hands were webbed, like really webbed, I wouldn't imagine you'd get that from a skeleton. Like you would have no idea.
Not at all. You have
Yeah,
no, we could have webbed ancestors. You
yeah.
have no clue.
And there were some of the things that were I don't even see how it's possible. Like, do you remember the thing you said about fins that like all like embryos actually have like fins and
So
then they turn into like your hands like
it's,
based off of one gene?
yeah, there's cool, so much cool stuff. Infants, like when you're in the womb,
Yeah,
you're in the fluid.
yeah.
They have gills, and they literally have gills. And the other thing was,
They,
blood and seawater are like 99.8% the same exact thing. It's like one
yeah.
tiny molecule different between like I think seawater and blood, I think it was.
Was
And
it
maybe
blood or
also
was it the liquid that was in the
and it I wrote it down. And
embryonic?
amniotic fluid.
Yeah.
Um Like all this stuff is so cool. And then even when you're coming back up, like you go down deep, your body does all this stuff to like adjust. You have to come back up a certain way,
Yeah,
and your body like does the right things so that way the release of pressure doesn't like also explode your brain. So
yeah.
you can't just like come back up. You have to come like, you know,
And this is just James Nestor doing James Nestor things where it's like
it.
he really does give you such a good, just like fascinating things about that topic.
So amniotic fluid is 99% the same as seawater.
Yeah,
That alone, if someone wrote a book and that was the only sentence, I'd say 5 stars.
yeah,
That's insane.
it
And
is.
our blood is 98% the same as seawater.
Yeah.
And I guess seawater like it's just like water and salt or something. And like I would think blood is like pretty complex mix of water and other things, but like to be 98% the same as seawater
Yeah.
is totally insane.
None of that makes sense to me though,
It kind
how
of
like similar everything is,
it
where it's
goes to like
like,
is all that stuff is just an accident versus that's why I want to get into an evolution book at some point
yeah.
versus like did it really change like is all that an accident just kind of happened to be this perfect where everything works or is there a big guy up there
Yeah,
kind of pulling some strings?
yeah, someone pulling some strings because it certainly feels like that everything is like too perfect. And then a lot of people I think believe that like we evolved like from the ocean, that all life, I think we talked about it last time, right? All life started in water, in the
Mm,
oceans, and
it's a
then
primordial soup.
yes. And like then that I mean the fact that literally babies have like gills and fins would support that
Crazy.
concept.
And like we should be thinking about that all the time.
Yeah,
No one's ever talking about it. Like you have a baby, like
this thing has
this
gills.
thing is literal,
Yeah.
and then they go away because I don't know when they go. Like if you're, because and then if the infant is born in water, like for a certain like first 8 months or 10 months,
Yeah.
you put an infant in water, they'll
They just go
ins
right up to the top, right?
they'll instinctively start like doing the breaststroke. Like they know how to swim already, and then you kind of lose that because
Because
you
they're
become
not
like one or
aware.
two and you don't swim, and then you kind of have to like learn how to swim again.
Yeah,
Like that's nuts.
that is crazy.
Like if you said to me right now, like go do the breaststroke, like I might have to Google which one that is
Yeah, I
before I
don't know.
did it,
Yeah.
and like an
And
infant,
then you wouldn't do well
and
with
I
it.
wouldn't look good at all. But an infant can just do it, which is crazy. But so he goes to this competition,
Yeah.
and what's shocking to him is besides like how crazy it is that people go down is what you said before, like how dangerous it is
Yeah.
and how much they're pushing the limits. Like,
And that was like his first thought is like he was like, this sounds really kind of dangerous. Because it's like, I mean, just off the top of your head, if you think about doing this yourself and you say, okay, I'm gonna go down as far as I can go down, but then I need to save exactly half of my oxygen to be able to get back up.
hmm
So it's like you're trying to pinpoint when you're at like the halfway mark, which just like sounds utterly impossible. Like if you were to hold your breath underwater and you would just be like, tell me when you're halfway through, like the odds of you being right, and if you're not right,
based on my experience, that would have been like the 4 second mark from
yes.
what I'm
And then you're either way past that or way short of it, but like knowing exactly what halfway is, like I could see
right.
sometimes doing what you're doing, being like at like 15 seconds and being like, I'm halfway, like I only have another 15 seconds. But then like you do reach a point where you're just like, oh wait, I'm
Mm,
okay. Like I'm slowing my
yeah.
heart rate here. But then I think the opposite is true. Like sometimes you'd start really good and you'd be like, oh, I could do this all day. And then you get to like the minute mark or minute and a half and you're like, all right, I'm halfway. And then you only make it like another 15 seconds and you start to panic.
I think it shows how hard it is to do that and perfect it because then during this competition, like half the competitors are coming up with like blood dripping out of their
Oh
eyes,
yeah.
like they're passed out, like the medics have to jump in like 12 times
Yeah.
to get different people and like resuscitate them.
And it's so common that the next person just goes. Like
Yeah,
if someone
they just
comes
move
up
on.
just like bleeding from the ears, they just like send them to the medic and then like next person jumps in the water and goes. It's not
Yeah.
like like in football, it's almost as common as just like a guy gets a little
Mm,
injury and walks off under his own power. It's like, all right, ne next
yeah.
guy go.
So he kind of is like all these people are talking about like free diving so great, it's a great way to connect with the ocean. But then they're doing this competition and it's kind of like not that at
It's
all.
ruining the spirit of free diving is pretty
Right. So
much
he's like, there's got to be more to this, and that's what kind of sets him off, I think, on this journey to like find out more and more. And I think that's when he goes to like that Aquarius place.
with the
Is
Amas,
that like
the
not yet?
Japanese. Okay.
Don't get me started
Oh,
on that.
but the
The
place where he like learns how to free dive.
it's like the first place. It's like almost like a house that's like 60 feet under, and there's like a few researchers that live in this house, and they're like their pressure is so big that like they're eating like Oreos and chips in there, and like they're just like flat,
Oh yeah,
like
I
the
kind of
bags are
remember. I like
flattened.
forget this a little bit.
So they're just doing like some there's like it's like a house that's like underwater somehow, but it's like I forget if it was like 50 or 60 feet, so like not
Yeah,
that crazy. So he dove down and he just to like visit them and he stayed there for like 10 minutes or some amount of time
yeah,
just to see what was going on.
which
And
is really cool to be able to just be like, I'm gonna dive down 50 feet, go
really
into your
cool.
house for a bit.
Yeah, really cool. But he said like it's miserable in there because nothing can ever really dry.
Yeah, it's always wet. I
It's
remember
always
that.
wet, so like the researchers and stuff are like completely
And
miserable.
I kind of remember him saying something like when they first did it, people thought that that was going to be like the new way of conducting underwater research.
Right.
And like it just didn't take at all because like it's so expensive and also like so miserable. Like you said, nothing ever dries. They got to get some air humidifiers down
Right?
there.
It's get a humidifier. It's
Yeah.
not that hard. Um, yeah, and people they would be down there for long stretches of time, so it was like a mental game of like I feel like it was so hard versus like how much they were finding from being down there probably
Yeah.
wasn't worthwhile. So like it never really caught
And then I
on.
think it's the same thing with like the scuba suits where it's like you go down in a scuba suit and I think like the fish and the animals like react to that.
They just run away. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Whereas if you free dive down, like you're way more in balance with
It-
the ecosystem.
yeah. So he goes to this place and that kind of sets him up on this journey where he's like he keeps meeting different people and they're like, "Hey, we're going on a research expedition outside of like Sri Lanka. Like,
Yeah.
do you want to come?" And then he'd be like, "All right, I'm going." I took like 7 flights to get there and it took
Yeah.
me like 40 hours and now I'm staying in this like shack that like barely has a bed
Yeah.
and we're gonna like hope that we like are able to like dive down. And as he's doing all of this, he's like learning how to free dive a little bit on his own, but
Because
he's like
like
really
there's
struggling.
yeah, there's like a trip in the future that he wants to go on and the guy's
Hmm.
pretty much just like, look, we're gonna be free diving a lot on that trip, so if
Like
you
if
can't
you
like
want to come,
you gotta be good at free
you
diving.
have to know how to free dive. And he's
And like
like,
you say something like that to James Nestor.
he's
Must not have read any of his other books, but
yeah,
like just tell James like what you need him to
Mm,
do and he'll do it. Like that guy, he taped his nose shut for like,
true,
4 months during breath just to get the experience of being a mouth breather.
true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like he's a committed guy. I mean, just free diving itself, like you said, I mean, you had a little experience, 6 feet deep water. I actually
And
was doing a bit of it in the pool that I was at last week.
okay,
Ears completely messed up. So much water in my ears for
really,
like 2 days straight. It was really,
you have to like. There's certain tricks you have to do. You have to like pop your ears as you go down, so you have to know
yeah,
how to do that. And you have to, um, there's it's called I forget. You have to get to like a certain point. Then when you get to a certain depth, it's like 30 feet or something. That
yeah.
he called it like the magic switch, where your body goes like, oh, okay, like I know exactly what I need to do.
It is insane though. Think about 30 feet. Like the pool that I was in was maybe 8 feet.
8 to 10 probably.
Yeah.
10 I think is deep for a
And
pool.
like when I went to the bottom, my ears just like popped and
That hurts.
then they hurt. And then I had like water in my ear for the next 2 days.
It's literally the pool.
And
That's
that
a
was
cool
like 8 feet.
experience. Yeah.
Imagine 30 feet.
And
Like I felt the pressure at 8 feet.
it's hard to go down because you feel
You're
yourself
being
getting
pushed
pulled
up.
back up. But then you get to a certain point, gravity flips.
Yeah.
So now there's no gravity pulling you up anymore. It's actually pulling you down to the bottom because you're past, I guess, like whatever point that flips.
Yeah.
So when you're freediving, you have to know which direction you're going
Which is tough.
because you don't know that like, oh, I'm gonna go up because everything's the same now.
Yeah.
So like you have to know like up, down, left, and right. It's all the same. So like getting that would scare me so much.
And
Be
that
like,
did happen in a couple of things. Like you brought up a couple of cases like that where one person got turned around and started going the wrong direction. And then they ended up finding, I think, like another rope from someone else and then ended up following that rope up.
"Mm,
But like at first was like headed in the wrong direction. Like that
yeah,
is like just hearing that story of him saying like
scares me thinking about it.
the divers like lost him. So he went down, let's
Yeah.
say like 100 feet,
Mm.
and the divers like lost him because he like went off the rope and then ended up on someone else's rope like 40 feet away and ended up coming up under his own power. And it was like, had he not made it up and he just passed out, he would have just died because the divers like completely lost track
Yeah.
of it.
I think that was the same guy too that he was trying to get back down once he came up because he came up too fast. So
Oh
he was trying to
yeah.
kick down and he couldn't because he had to get down to a certain depth so that way his like the nitrogen bubbles would like
Yes.
release from his brain.
Which is again absurd.
And it's
So,
absurd, but he couldn't get down because
yeah.
it's like he has no energy and he's trying to kick down and they're trying to pull him up because he's
Yes.
like, but
Yeah.
he knew he had to get down and then he ends up like in the hospital for like
Yeah.
months and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's like, these guys are
It's
nuts.
an insane sport. Yeah. Imagine that. Imagine almost drowning and then them being like, you gotta actually go back in the water and not just
Go
in the water,
down.
you gotta go
You go down
down.
like 20, 30
Yeah,
feet.
like you almost drowned. Don't worry about it. You gotta go down 30 feet.
All that stuff is just so cool to hear about. Like the fact that I didn't know any of that, where it's like if you dive down a certain amount, you don't get pulled up. Like that is
Yeah.
so cool to know.
So I heard one story previously, like years ago, probably like I don't know when this book was, but it felt like maybe I heard this like 15 years ago. I was probably
I think this
like in
book's
high
like
school.
20 years old,
Yeah.
roughly.
But I remember hearing this, it was I think a documentary on this guy that they were accusing of killing his wife, who was like a world champion free diver.
Whoa.
And she was going for like a record. But it was the type of free diving that sounds like infinitely more dangerous than the actual free diving, where like you use like a weight to pull you down and then you
Hmm.
pull a balloon that pulls you back up. So
Oh,
you actually do like no swimming. You pretty much are just like using a weight to go down and then you like pull a balloon to come back up. And it's like whoever can go the farthest.
that's going against your natural,
It is. And like he talks about that, I think that's the no limit dives is what they're called.
yeah.
And he says like you're weighted to go down to like 500 feet. So you're going down like 500 feet and then use a balloon to go back up. And ascent is like too quick, so it leaves so many people like paralyzed or severely injured
I mean,
because of
it,
the nitrogen in your blood.
how scared would you be if you were a free diver in a competition? The person in front of you comes up and like blood is dripping from their
Yeah,
eyeballs, and you're just like, all right, I'm ready.
I'm ready to beat their record.
You're
Like
like, I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
go a
beat
little
their
further
score.
than that guy
Yeah,
just went.
yeah,
Like, I would be.
yeah.
I don't know if I would ever even go in the water again if I
No.
saw that.
But I think he mentioned that documentary that I saw, he mentioned that chick, or but that is how the girl died, is her husband, who was her coach, never filled the balloon with oxygen. And
Oh,
then nobody checked it.
oh, I think he talked about it.
I think he did.
I think I remember that.
And I remember in the documentary like she didn't really want to go that day and she was like not feeling great about it and she was going for like a world record and the husband like on the documentary was like convincing her like you can do it, like you should do it, just do it. And there was no oxygen in the balloon. So the divers, when she pulled the balloon and nothing happened, the divers had to like swim back up 500 feet, which obviously she was brought up after, I think he did, because I wouldn't have written this down. Brought up by divers after 8 minutes.
Jesus
So
Christ.
8 minutes, yeah,
It's a long time. I think he said the world record for
holding
underwater
your
was like
breath.
over 20 minutes at
Well,
one
like
point.
David Blaine did something crazy like that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like on TV.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy what you
He
can like train your body to do with that stuff.
crazy.
How
Um,
long did he do?
I forget, but he mentioned it. He mentioned David
Yeah,
Blaine doing it.
just
But you can. I didn't
ridiculous.
know you can hold your breath longer underwater. So remember the ducks?
I couldn't wait to talk about it. It was literally my first note, the strangling duck
The
experiment.
ducks.
Yeah.
Do you want to go? Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll give the basic. So the basic premise was, and it's like very similar to the like yeah, but so basic premise is if this guy was depriving ducks of oxygen. So he was like giving them a like a mask that was pumping them up with oxygen, but it didn't have that much oxygen. Let's say it was like oxygen and nitrogen or something like that. So the mixture of oxygen was less, so he knew that they were going to suffocate. The ones that he submerged in water while giving the same amount of oxygen to survived 3 times longer than the ones on land.
Yep.
So basically, yeah, just basically that you're,
So he was doing like an experiment,
yeah,
and it was just oh, good girl. Just so happened to be extremely brutal.
yeah,
But I read it as like he was like strangling ducks.
yeah, he
Like
might have been.
like he it would strangle a duck,
What was
and then
called the strangling duck theory, but I don't know if
yeah,
he was like physically strangling them or
and then like it would be
I would imagine he'd
above
be
ground, and
doing
he would
it.
just count like one, two, three.
I think that can't possibly
The
be it,
I mean, like, but
but
it
that
kind of
also wouldn't
is
surprise.
because he's
Yeah.
like, let's see how long these ducks can hold their breath
Oh
for.
yeah.
So like, you only find out how long you can hold the breath for until the duck is dead. Then you're like,
Yeah.
okay, that's how long it did.
Yeah.
So like, you're
But
essentially strangling ducks until they die
yes.
above water and underwater, and you're comparing the times.
Yeah.
And I was listening to that, I was like, holy crap.
My note is like I'm not okay with that study personally.
Personally, I'm against it.
I'm against that study. It's a shocking study, and it's like one of the studies that we talk about all the time where it's like
Yeah.
imagine being like, a doctor, like a scientist, and they're like, hey, you want to come over and drink? And it's like, "No, I can't. I'm like strangling a bunch of ducks today
I'm working today.
in different
But like also
scenarios.
like then I think about like how did you get those ducks? Are you going to the pond and grabbing ducks? Or are you ordering ducks from some
You're ordering them.
but then if you're selling ducks, what kind of due diligence are you doing to
You're
who's
right.
buying?
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey,
What are you
yeah,
gonna do with
what are
these
you gonna do with
ducks?
20 ducks? And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, she's gonna strangle 10 above water and 10 below water and count.
And
It's
count off the top of my
it's like, all
head.
right, that sounds good. Like you
Yeah, I
like
would
how does that
imagine.
actually happen? Like, how does that all go
Yeah.
down?
So if it James Nestor's he's got too good of a reputation that if a guy was actually physically just like strangling them, I
Mm,
think James
mm.
Nestor would have like immediately been like, this study's no good.
But
Because
you
subconsciously
don't
you would
want to
strangle them harder, I think, trying to
I,
get
don't-
the results that you
I don't
want.
think he did it with his hand.
Yeah.
So you're right. There's probably some way he was strangling them
Yeah.
or suffocating them.
But Doug's it
But
is
you have to
weird to
stop.
imagine giving them like a duck gas mask. Like first
Right.
you'd have to
I think it's
customize.
like zip tie their neck. Like there's no good way to strangle
There
them.
isn't. And there's
And,
no and even like the
but he's not going to throw out the results of a good study
yeah,
just because it was bad.
because it
He may
looks
not want
bad.
to redo the study,
Yeah.
but I think he's able to see through the duck strangling and say like, hey, like clearly something is happening here to
Yeah.
animals that you can breathe, hold your breath more underwater.
Imagine him at a conference and everyone's just like attacking him for
For the
doing the
duck.
study, and he just keeps going back to, hey, like,
It's not my study.
yeah, well, like, also, I don't even mean James Nestor. I mean the
Oh,
guy that actually did the strangling, and him just keep coming back to, like, why can't we talk about the results?
yeah,
Like,
I found something good here,
yeah,
guys.
someone explain these
This
results.
is it.
I think the results are
Mm,
crazy. I think the study itself is crazy. It reminded me a lot of, like, the Nazi thing that we talked about with,
yeah,
like, in order to enhance science the way that the Nazis did, you almost need to be able to operate with like complete freedom to do
yeah.
whatever horrible thing you want to do.
It's a,
And
yeah. They just use
they
humans.
use
It's a good
humans
analogy.
instead of thing, and it elevated them so much quicker. And even like this, like if I heard this study, I'd just be like, hey, we're not strangling any more
Yeah,
ducks. Like, but
because
like,
because Nazis were able to go as far as to killing people, and
yeah,
if this guy was like, I don't want to kill any ducks,
yeah,
the study doesn't really work because then it's like,
no,
how do you really know how long they could have held their breath for? So
you
like,
can't.
so you have to really push the limits
Yeah,
in some of these studies, and
yeah.
that's why I'm not a scientist.
Yeah, it's not a good look, and we could talk all day about rights and wrongs about strangling things, but not a big part of the book.
It was literally just like maybe 30 seconds of the book,
But
but
it
it
was
really stood
so
out.
shocking,
Yeah,
yeah, that it had to be written down.
yeah. You can talk
Um,
about duck rights all day here. So he
but
continues his journey. He
so
keeps going to different places. He keeps going further and further down. I think the one guy was cool. He like built his own machine to like take you down.
yeah,
And he went with like him and then one other guy, and they went down to like these crazy depths. Um,
same thing with the submarine where he said it's just like wet in there,
yeah, it's
and
like
it's also like really
wet.
easy to freak out,
Yeah, it gets like really hot and really cold based on like how, where you are.
which
But
makes like the people that died in the submarine for like the
mm,
Titanic thing like sound like maybe the worst death ever. Like,
oh
could you
my, I
imagine
kept
the
thinking about
panic?
oh
Yeah,
my God, but you're like, we're,
that he's in like a submarine that's only like 50 feet down, and he's like talking about how
I,
uncomfortable it is, and one of the other
yeah,
guys was like starting to panic a little bit, who does it all the
yeah.
time.
But
Like,
do think he did go a few thousand feet down, which is
oh
like,
God, yeah,
but even on the way down, they're like scared, and it's
yeah.
like, and then they go down, they end up seeing like some really cool stuff that like a lot of people haven't seen before. And the
Deep
one,
deep ocean bioluminescence, like
yeah,
again, just like topics of this book. It's a really weird book because just when you think it's just about free diving, then all of a sudden it goes into like more into like deep ocean creatures.
I do want to linger on bioluminescence a bit because
Yeah,
this was cool. And I think this is why we've done a lot of fishing in the last 10 to 15 years and we still haven't caught a fish.
yeah,
I think this is why. Because like certain light flows through water a certain way. Like water's not actually blue, but it looks blue to us.
yeah,
But so like red and yellow get like caught up in the waves. Um like as soon as you get like 10 feet down.
yeah,
So that's why like there's no blue and all you can see is like blue and purple.
yeah.
That's why there's no blue and purple fish in the ocean at deep levels because it'd be the only thing you can see. But the red and yellow get like swallowed up by like the way the light waves come in, and
Yeah,
this is like almost sucking the wild pendulum type
this is
stuff.
pretty cool.
So that's why like red snapper and like other fish like that like do so well in like certain
I
depths.
cannot wait for you to bring that up at like a social event and or fishing because I feel like that is
That
like, have you ever wondered why there's no blue purple fish
right, there's
that deep?
no
Yeah,
blue fish in the ocean. If you
that
think
is
about that.
really that's pretty wild.
That's one of the coolest things that you
Yeah,
could hear about. And like we're going fishing, our lures are probably completely wrong color.
probably blue.
They're
Probably can't
probably
even see
blue.
them at all.
They're probably red.
Yeah,
So you need a blue one, I think, because the blue,
blends in.
you're just gonna stand out. You
Oh,
can't have a blue fish in the ocean because then all the predators are gonna see it.
yeah.
You need to blend in if you're in the ocean.
We should be
So
making
that's
our own
red. So actually, we
lures.
don't want a red lure because then it'll blend in.
Yeah,
We want to go opposite. You're
yeah.
right. See,
I
that's
think you
why.
want that. Yeah.
That's why I gotta,
No,
gotta
there's a lot there, and
we have to dive deep a little bit more,
yeah,
but god damn.
Steam Paul versus the world uh bait and tackle shop, really.
We if we could bring this setup to a pond
Yeah.
and just fish while we talk about books.
It is
That's
like
the only way we could probably level this up any further.
yeah. The knowledge that you get though from doing things yourself is
Hmm.
like it stays with you forever, which is why I think James Nestor is like
Yeah,
so good about like, like
you
I
can
can
tell.
if I'm gonna write a book about free diving, like I need to be able to free dive or at least like have the experience of trying to learn how to free dive. That was like us with the crabbing, where it's like we thought we were hot shit crabbers, and it was like until we really went out there and did it, and like,
It took a few times. Like, all right, this is how we get like the little crabs. Like,
yes,
this is what's working. This is what's not working.
like we had some tough days out there. Like, remember the days where we couldn't catch a crab and the birds kept stealing our our chicken?
Yeah,
It was just like an absolute battle with the birds. Every time you stepped away, a gull was coming down and taking your chicken. All we were
bloodbath.
catching was those like soft shell crabs.
Nasty.
Didn't check the tides at all. We knew nothing about it.
Nothing about the tides. And we were didn't know like, all right, you need like some cages here. You want some
Yeah.
blinds here. Like this, you want to get a mix.
And
Keep those
even
crabs
even the water,
guessing.
like which is like that is like one of the funnier things to me ever is how I think how unreceptive people are to advice when they don't ask for it. Like we were crabbing one day and we had our crabs in like a little bit of water in our bucket. And some guy just like walked over and was like, "Hey," like really nice and politely was like, "Just so you guys know, like those crabs are gonna die a lot quicker because they'll suffocate because they'll use all the oxygen in the water and then they'll suffocate. If you put the crabs with no water, they'll actually live like 5 times as long." And we were just like, as soon as he walked away, we were just like, effing loser, like
An
telling
ass.
us what to do. Every single time we go crabbing since, every single person, that's the first thing I tell them is like, make sure there's no water in the thing. Like, it's just
It's like, oh,
funny
how do you know
how,
that? It's like, oh, just
yeah,
years of crabbing.
yeah, yeah.
Give him no credit.
Just funny how when someone gives unsolicited advice, like your first instinct is like, I don't care that much. Like, you're a
Right, like, why are
loser.
you coming at me?
Yes, and I
What?
think about that at the gym too, where it's like I see someone doing something wrong, and my first instinct is to want to go up to them and be like, "Hey, you're doing that wrong." But I think if someone ever did that to me, I would just be like, "Get away from me, you fucking
100%
loser."
agree, except I think I'm come to a point where I'm have so bad at the gym and I have no idea what I'm doing that I'm begging for someone to
Just come over and
come
yeah,
and help me. Clearly,
that's fair.
clearly lost out here.
I am like checking my points because at a certain amount of points that I get like a free training session.
Ooh.
So I can't wait to get a training session and just be like, I'm gonna do a routine in which every single thing I do is wrong. And you're gonna tell me
I
what
need
to
you
do.
to help me because
Yeah.
it's bad. Oh, you got something.
Some ame?
We had a bug here because we got rid of the spiders and these other bugs are they know it's open season here.
Yeah.
I think we're clear.
All right. So,
Should we get into dolphins?
yeah.
So I got a good one. He talked about Peter the dolphin. And if you listen to Joe Rogan, they tell the story all the time. And I was like, holy shit, this is that story. And
Yeah.
this must, because I know he knows breath.
Is this the sexual
This,
one?
yeah, this must be where
The
they first
story,
heard
yeah.
it. So they have these dolphins. They're trying to, so a lot of what he ends up learning is like about dolphins and whales and like how they're communicating. And they have these
Yeah.
like super intricate communication systems where like they don't talk over each other. Like only one dolphin talks at a time. They can like match these like super nuanced and complex frequencies like over and over again. So they're like clearly saying like certain things.
Yeah.
They understand each other. They can see things from miles away. All this awesome stuff. So this one guy, I think it was like John Lilly, is a researcher, and he
Sounds
has
right.
these sounds good. He has these dolphins in captivity, and he's doing research, and he wants to teach them how to say like English words.
Yeah.
So he has this lady in there who's helping teach this dolphin how to talk,
Yeah.
and the dolphins are like super agitated
Yeah.
because they're stuck in this like small pool,
Yeah.
and essentially the only way that this lady could get the dolphin to like pay attention for the lessons was if she pleasured him beforehand.
Yeah.
So then this dolphin like knows that this is happening. So now like every day this woman is like pleasuring this dolphin.
And then they're like teaching it English words,
Yep.
and it's actually like getting some of the words. Like obviously with the training, we know that it's able to like mimic and do certain things. So like it was somewhat working, but then I think they were going through like I'm sure the first time was almost like an accident,
Like she accidentally jerked him off.
a little bit. Like maybe it was just like, yeah,
But
that's a tough accident, but I'm sure it was just like maybe the first.
so there's a few things here.
Like I want to take her side and just give her the benefit of the doubt that it wasn't like a deliberate plan to be
It
like, hey, what if we pleasure these
it
things?
really seemed like she enjoyed like essentially banging this dolphin every day.
Yeah,
And it's overlooking again with the ducks. The good research, like
yeah,
it kind of glossed over it. Like they got these dolphins to like be able to say certain words.
yeah,
And they didn't say what words or anything.
yeah.
Like I want to see these dolphins talking,
I know, Sam.
right? Like but then, right, like I think overall, like the dolphins got so upset that essentially,
And they became like really aggressive
and
towards her doing
he
it.
thinks that they would just essentially kill themselves by like suffocating themselves underwater because they were
Yeah,
so unhappy. And this guy actually ended up setting back the like dolphin research industry by like 500 years because it
yeah.
became such a joke that no one wants to like fund any more like dolphin like research
He was
projects.
also like LSD was also involved in it a little
Oh
bit as
yeah, yeah,
well.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he
yeah.
was doing LSD or they were doing LSD or they were
I
giving it to the
I think they
dolphins
were giving it to
too.
dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to like change the
Yeah, but you're right.
neural
They
pathways.
did say like it set back that research a long time, but it's again,
That's
it's
Peter
like
the Dolphin, and
yeah,
Peter the Dolphin's the one. If you listen to Rogan, like
talk
he'll
about.
mention every once in a while, and it's like really funny.
It is though, like how do you know that research has gone too far? Like you could take any study and find a flaw with it and be like, hey, that's not humane or like we shouldn't be doing that or
Mm.
none of them look good. Even if they weren't jerking off the dolphins and giving them LSD, I still think the study's a bad study because like they're not studying the dolphins in their natural habitat. They're
Yeah.
studying them
So they were trying. The
in a
problem is
cage.
they were trying to teach the dolphins English. We should be trying to figure out what dolphins are saying in their own language,
Yeah,
which I think because they can map, like you can record it,
yeah,
and then you can map the frequencies. And I think that would be a good use of AI. So
I
you can put
agree.
through all these frequencies and be like, tell me what the similar patterns are, blah blah blah, and you can start like picking things out.
I've watched a couple of sci-fi movies about that where they have like an alien species and they're trying to like teach it English or learn like what their word is for their thing.
Mhm.
And it does seem like AI would be pretty good for that, and it does seem like something
It's
they're able to figure out in these movies.
they
Why
can
can't
do
we
it.
figure it out for these dolphins
They
though?
can do it in the movies.
Yeah,
Well, I think like this book, like they were doing that kind of
it was
research.
getting there,
He
and
talked
then
about
this
this
guy,
was way before, like this is probably 20 years ago.
yeah,
So I have to imagine the problem is like there's just two people doing it.
yeah.
If they had funding to like do it, it's just hard to get like dolphin recordings
It's also like,
because you have to free dive
yes,
and then you have to be able to record it
yeah.
and all of that, and it's not easy to do because you can't like scuba gear it, you can't do any of that kind of stuff.
I think it also goes to like the Elon Musk thing where it's like if he found out my tax money was going to the strangling duck experiments, I'd be livid. You know, I'd be like, I don't want my tax money going
True.
strangling ducks. I'd rather buy, cheap red wine with it, you know, and like I feel like that's a better use.
Well, that's the problem is like, yeah, like who's funding these things and where they're actually getting their money. Like, but if you told me you have to pay $10 in taxes,
Yeah,
it's either going to go into the pocket of a dirty politician
yeah, true.
or we're going to study dolphins.
Yeah.
I'd say give it to the dolphins.
But now when you say give it to the Dolphins, then you find out afterwards that they're jerking off the Dolphins and doing LSD. Now where do you stand?
So tell me more about some of this research here. I mean, it's still
Send me a
better.
little bit of the LSD
Yeah,
and then
it's still
I'll
better. Um,
it is better,
I,
yeah.
I, I am against anything that would cause harm
It's crazy
to
though,
these
but it's
animals.
really unavoidable. Like I think when it comes to like medicine and a lot of these things, like
How do
I
you,
think to some degree it's
how
unavoidable.
do you test it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a good answer.
I feel like they're
Hmm.
testing more on humans now than animals, now that we've kind of cut back our animal studies. And
Flashback to 2021, they did a really quite a big study
quite a big study, yeah.
without anyone's consent.
No, probably should test that on animals first. I would have been pumped if they did it on ducks and they're just like, oh shit, these ducks are having a lot of
It's-
problems.
yeah, let's hold it off.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else on dolphins. It's just clear that they're like communicating, like they're smart, they like feel like emotions and things like that. Um, so I loved all the dolphin talk.
I did too. I got a static breath hold record here from
Yeah,
the book. Um,
hit me.
so I forget what the record is, but he said by 2017 the record would be 15 minutes with the current pace that it's evolving. But the record currently, I did look this up, is only 11.5 minutes.
Really?
However, someone did 29 minutes with inhaling 10 minutes of pure oxygen prior to the attempt. So
Is that
like
underwater?
I think it's underwater, but you're kind
I
of
thought he said
cheating.
someone got like 20.
Well, 29 minutes, like I think David Blaine, I remember, was like, he was like, I'm gonna do 20 minutes. And I was just like, that's
I wrote
ridiculous.
22.
But would that be a static breath hold or would that be like inhaling oxygen before?
I don't know about the inhaling oxygen. I thought I should have wrote down a better note. I thought he said it was underwater.
It could be underwater. Like the breath hold, I think wouldn't make a difference either way. And according to the duck study, I think they'd actually do better underwater.
Yeah.
But I mean, 11.5 minutes is crazy. To hold your
Insane.
breath for 11.5 minutes, like, and he says like in the book, like try holding
Crazy.
your breath, like see how long you can hold your breath for. And it's like he did it in a pool and he was the only one in the
Oh.
class that did the 4 minute breath hold. And if it was that was anyone else other than James Nestor, I would have been annoyed and been like, stop patting yourself on the back. But like it's James Nestor, so I allowed it. But like 4 minute breath hold, like that's what's like a normal, like the best of normal people is like probably 4 minute
Above
breath
water.
hold.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Getting
then
to a minute's like hard.
doing 11.5 minutes is absurd.
Absurd.
But doing 29 minutes with the pure oxygen is also like imagine.
So this one says, I don't know if there's oxygen involved.
Yeah.
So, and there's a cool thing I want to bring up too. 29-minute underwater breath hold world record,
Yeah.
but for a free diver. We also, this just reminded me, he
Yeah.
talked about cold water. So like part of like what's triggering your body to start doing all this cool stuff when you go under is the fact that like cold water is hitting your face.
Yeah.
So like it lowers your heart rate, it like lowers anxiety, like all of this stuff. So he was like splashing cold water on your face is like a real thing. It's not just
Yeah.
like, oh, it makes you feel better, like real like science, like things are happening in your body.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so cool.
Well, the
Like I'm gonna
cold
splash
plunge.
cold water in my face all the
Yeah.
time now.
It's also, I mean, it's also, I was like thinking about it today with like doing my knees over toes guy like workout.
Nice.
That it's like, it's sad that someone like him and someone like Wim Hof can literally like invent something that's more valuable than like almost anything else that has almost really existed. Like they figured out completely on their own like how to make yourself a better athlete, like for knees over toes guy, like how to actually like improve your speed, your athleticism, like in
Or just be able to like move in everyday life.
yes,
Like
like completely change the way like people worked out. And it's like he's probably his net worth is probably like $2 million. when
Yeah,
his net worth should be like $500 billion.
he
And
should be the
everyone just
richest
like
person in the
he
world.
should.
Right.
And like same thing with Wim Hof, where it was like I remember seeing Wim Hof videos where you're just like doing breath work and they would like jump into like some freezing cold water and then like get out and all that stuff. So it's like he was on like, ice plunges and breathing techniques before anyone else. And it's like he should be a billionaire.
Yeah,
And instead he probably has profited like $0.
yeah. He's an app,
Yeah,
like a breathwork app, but I think you have to pay for it. I downloaded it after we read Breath,
yeah,
but I don't want to pay for it.
no.
So he's a free video on YouTube though, which I do sometimes.
Bunch
You
of
can
free
like
videos, yeah.
follow along with the
And same
breath
thing with knees over
through
toes
it.
guy, and it's like
Crazy.
sad too because they're such good guys. Like the knees over toes guy, like will
He's
even
the best guy.
yeah, he'll
The
even like
best.
say like you don't have to get this from me. You just need to get one that has this, and
Yeah,
this.
or he'll be like, you can buy this, or you can just use
Yeah.
like a two by
And
four
that's
piece of
like
wood.
Gary Brecka, yeah, where it's just like I trust anyone that's like, yeah, like, I think hydrogen water is great for you and like here's like 10 websites you can get it from. Like I sell it from mine, but you don't have to get it from mine. You just need to make
Mhm.
sure it has this, and this.
I did get a little upset at Gary Brecka because I loved him so
What
much.
was he doing recently?
Well, he's just
I
like
haven't been following him,
I
but
neither have I, but like I used to, like he would just post and be like Baja Salt. He's like this is the best sea salt and stuff. And it's like
oh
oh
God.
he's like now just promoting stuff,
Yeah.
which obviously like go for it and make your money.
I do, yeah,
And maybe it's great, but like
yeah,
it's just like it's just a little less
I know.
hard. It's harder now to trust.
It is, but it's also that thing of like I said, like, what type of person would be like the knees over toes guy? Like, I'd be so bitter if I like figured out a better way of like working out
Hmm.
and making people more athletic and preventing injuries and all this stuff. Like, I invented that. Like, I knew about
Okay.
the knees over toes guy when I was like in high school. And like now all of a sudden he's become like really popular. But like, and I'm sure like
And
NFL
not even that.
teams, no, and I'm sure
You
like
know,
NFL teams are pretty much just like stealing his research essentially
yeah,
and
he'll
just like putting it in their
yeah
own thing.
he had an awesome video with like the Houston basketball like strength coach and like the players and like going
Yeah,
through like all their workouts and like
yeah. It's just like it's a shame that yeah, like having the idea. You always see it on Shark Tank. It's like having a good idea is one thing, but like executing the
mm,
idea is a completely different. And some things, I think the best things are things that you shouldn't have to sell that are just like available to people, like breathing and
that's like knees over toes guy and like
yeah,
certain people that talk about food like you can't like sell
like eating healthy.
healthy food, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like
crazy.
hopefully those people you can trust, but
But let's talk sperm
whales.
whales.
Yeah.
So, first off,
Whale talk was awesome.
yeah, why are we putting ooze in our toothpaste?
Yeah.
So, like, so
First of
let's
all,
talk about what ooze is.
yeah.
So basically, ooze, so when you get to the bottom of the ocean, it's almost like if you think about like the end of somebody's property where they just have like years and years of like decomposed like leaves and dead insects and just like dead things just at the end of their property, just like stacking up on top of each other, and it never really fully gets decomposed. Ooze is essentially all that stuff at the bottom of the ocean. So at the bottom of the ocean, it's like all this like shit from fish and then like the shit is eaten by other fish, and
Right.
then those fish shit, and
Eat,
then
it's like
it just like keeps going for like
a
20
million
times
years.
until eventually just like there's no
It just falls to the
redeeming
bottom.
quality of it left where nobody's even interested in it and it just falls to the bottom and it just stays with the bottom and nobody's eating it. So like that ooze has been down there for like millions of years. We decided as a society, let's go down there.
Wait,
Let's grab some of this ooze and let's put it in our toothpaste that we put in our mouths.
I thought that the is the ooze in the toothpaste? I thought it was something from the whales.
I think there's ooze in the toothpaste, but I think there's also whale stuff in the toothpaste as well.
Okay.
Maybe
Because
like whale
essentially, like,
sperm.
he gets into the whales and then he talks about, like, whaling, where, like, people are just, like, they're killing whales because they have, like, all these, like, oils and stuff that are used in, like, certain beauty products
Yeah.
and a
So
lot of
what
other
was it? It
stuff.
was like sperm whales were first called sperm whales because they thought that it was like they were like ejecting or they like killed one and cut it open and there
Okay.
was a bunch of like shit inside of it that
It,
they thought
it
was
had this
shit.
whole, like, thing in its head. where like all this stuff is like floating around, and that's like
And it
they
was
think it's
looked
like
like
really like
ears.
yeah,
So it's just like this white
but it's
looking
really like a
thing.
receptacle for like all this
Yes.
information that they're taking in, and
Yes.
these like energy
Yeah.
waves, and
So
like
that's why they like called it, they named it like a sperm whale. Turns out it wasn't sperm. It's actually more of like an oil that has like all these really great uh like abilities to use it for different products.
yeah.
And I think that is something that we use or used at least in a lot of different products is that what we thought was sperm, but is actually just like an oil,
So
like a
then,
white
so
oil.
then this huge like business kind of came up about killing these whales and then taking all this stuff and selling it. So like the whale populations are getting like decimated.
Yeah,
He talked about one dolphin. I think it's called a buoy dolphin. There was like three left.
yeah,
To me, that's not cool.
that's a problem.
That's a real problem. Like you really need some stuff in your toothpaste, or could we let a few more dolphins and whales kind of chill out?
Yeah.
Like, what's the
That's I think like the biggest argument for like a world government is something like that, where it's like, like we need to like we got a bit of a problem here because like I don't want to speak ill of the Japanese, but they hate whales, I
they
think.
they they like killing them?
And the Chinese, I think, love killing sharks, right?
Oh, I've heard that actually.
So,
There's like a shark soup or something.
which I don't mind. I actually don't mind that one. But I know it's going to mess up the balance and it's going to
Right, right,
cause
right, right.
bigger
We got to talk
issues.
about full ecosystems here.
Yes. So if we're going to kill all these sharks, let's invent something that will also do the same job that a shark will do without attacking any people. And now I can get on board. But until you invent that thing, you got to stop killing these sharks because you're messing up our ecosystem.
But I think like even like these freediving type people, and we have so much to talk
Yeah.
about. Like they'll say like the shark attacks aren't like the shark's fault.
Yeah,
Type
but
of thing.
I've seen that as well, and I
You
will never forget this Shark Week episode
know.
where this guy goes and he's like eating his lunch in a little table in like 4 feet water with just like 25 sharks swimming around.
Right.
Just swimming around him. He's just like sitting
He
in the
sounds like a
water at
guy
this
that should
table.
get eaten by a shark.
So what happens is, and I'm like thinking like when he talks about like the types of sharks that are around, it's like bull shark, tiger shark, like sharks that attack humans. So I'm just like, this guy's an idiot. Like seems like a bit of a problem. I don't get this.
What was he eating for lunch?
I don't know. But a bull shark comes up to him, bites him in the leg. He loses the leg. Like this was an
Right.
experiment to be like sharks won't attack people when they're well fed and all this stuff. Bull shark didn't agree. Bit him in the leg, gets his
I
leg
mean,
amputated. Goes back to Shark Week next year, like a couple
can't miss
years later.
Shark Week.
Yeah. Literally tries to like almost repeat the experiment.
Yeah.
It's just like
Lost
people
his other
are
leg.
no, but like people are just like insane with that
But
stuff that
that's
it's
to
like,
me, I think and this is like a theme in the book, like we're like underestimating the intelligence of the other animals just because we can't understand it. This is
yeah,
pure draft theory here,
yeah,
where these sharks know you're taunting them.
yeah,
You're eating lunch at a table in a pool full of sharks,
yeah,
even if they had just ate 10 meals,
yeah.
they're gonna be like, this douche.
And he's like sitting at a table too. They're probably just like, this
Taunting
guy's,
them.
yeah,
You can't taunt sharks. Like I truly think that like you hear birds chirping or like dogs barking. Like like there's probably real communication happening there, and we
yeah.
just think it's like random noise because we can't understand it.
It's
And it's
also
like
like,
so like I think they're all just a lot smarter than we think.
yeah. And we think of intelligence as like us being intelligent.
Like we're maybe the
We're
stupidest,
so dumb.
maybe the stupidest of any
Yeah.
animal.
We get so worried about shit that doesn't even
Like
matter.
oh, like birds don't have phones, they're so dumb. It's
I
like no,
know.
like that's not what determines what's smart or not.
Exactly. Like
Like
we have something that's like actively making us dumber and or
they can put
just like
together.
making us miserable and we're just like, I can't put it down. Like
Yeah, well,
you
you
know.
know it's bad for you, and you're like, I need to stare at my hand for like the next 3 hours.
But yeah, we could go a while into that. But let's talk about species of living things that survive at like
Yeah,
3,500 feet deep.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like after a certain point of the ocean, you reach a level where zero light passes through.
So here's one thing I got wrong. I didn't know there was no plants at like the bottom of the ocean.
None, because there's no light.
I think most of my knowledge comes from like SpongeBob,
Yeah,
where there's some plants around.
yeah.
I was like, I heard that and I was like, wait, there's no plants in like the bottom of the ocean, but
Yeah.
like clearly it makes sense because there's no like oxygen and stuff or
So
whatever.
it's crazy. Like
Or sun,
phytoplankton,
yeah, sun.
yeah, phytoplankton is a plant that's on the top of the ocean that's pretty much like microscopic, but it's getting its energy. It's a plant, so it gets its energy from the sun, like any other plant, and obviously it's in the ocean, so plenty of water. And it actually provides like a good portion of our oxygen
80% of the world's oxygen comes from
comes from
ocean algae.
phytoplankton.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
absurd. And like all the
that's why you
polluting,
read books.
yes,
It's
and
that kind of stuff.
all the polluting that we're doing with like the plastics and
Mm.
having like if you imagine having like a garbage pile in the ocean that's the size of like Texas or whatever
Mm.
size it is now.
It's so sad.
I would imagine it's pretty bad for the phytoplankton, like aren't gonna do well, like trying to
I
survive
know.
underneath a pile of
I
garbage.
hate to be like a hippie environmentalist, but like
We gotta fix that.
we gotta
Yeah,
fix it. What are we doing?
we gotta fix that.
Right?
But anyway, so
The
yeah,
creatures.
once you get to a certain depth, there's no light that's able to penetrate through the water. So not only is it complete darkness, which is why a lot of those like, fish and creatures down there use bioluminescence, like they make their own light, which is like so freaking cool.
So cool.
Like I could just listen to people talk about bioluminescence all day.
That's all I want to hear about.
But then also like the shocking thing was we just assumed that like no living things could one be down there because there's no plants. And like our basic understanding is in
And
order to have consumers, you have to have producers. So how do you have
nice.
living things at the bottom of the ocean when there's no producers? Turns out there are like living things down there. One, I don't know how, because I don't
And the
think they do
pressure
have
alone.
producers. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do have like there's like single cell like amoebas and like little tiny things that get their energy from like these volcanic vents. So like
It's the
instead of getting
boiling
like
vent theory.
heat, yeah, it's just really just like absurd that I don't know. But I also thought like one of the coolest parts of the entire thing was like, and I've loved this, like deep ocean fishing, where it's like you can't go down there with a camera and actually view it. But what you can do is drop like some sort of trap, like 2,000
Mm,
feet down, and then just like pull up the trap and see
that
what
would
you
be
get.
so cool.
So cool.
That would be so much fun.
And like one of the things that they pull up in the book is they pull up from 2,000 feet deep an albino shrimp that he said was the size of a cat,
That yeah.
which is I think the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Yeah, like he said, like all those creatures down there that they're like ugly and like they look disgusting because they have to like survive in such like high pressure and
Yes,
low light. Like
yes.
there is no natural light. It's
There,
pitch black.
yeah. It also like gets very, and I wrote this like very like evolution-y at the end of this book, where like he's touching on a lot of topics where it's like, I think he says like the iron sulfur theory of origin of life versus the primordial soup theory.
He shut down the primordial soup theory.
He
He
shut it
was like,
down.
that's crap.
Yeah.
I forget why, but it's crap.
Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think I wrote it down and then I wrote nothing else after.
Same. I just read that.
Yeah, and then the last thing I wrote down is Schnoller's voice, who's like the scientist that he's with for half the book, is literally the lawyer's voice from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Like,
Yes, yeah.
yeah,
I thought the same thing.
like anytime he does the Schnaller voice, it's literally
Yes.
like the lawyer's voice from
It
Fear and
was him doing another person's voice,
yeah.
100%. Yep. That was a great. I thought the same thing. Very good call.
But Alma's last, and then we'll kind of close out on a couple of things.
I can't believe we haven't talked about the Amazon.
Yeah, can you talk about him?
Might have been my favorite part of the book.
Really cool.
So this is why books are the
Yeah,
best. So there's these women in Japan called the AMA, and for all of like thousands of years, they're just like these free diving women that go into the ocean and collect food and everything for like their villages. They live on the coast. So like every morning they go out and they free dive down with like obviously no equipment. But like they're like poor from like these villages, so like they really have nothing. They just go down with like a basket,
yeah.
and then like go down, they fill it up with
Horrible
oysters.
diving equipment.
Yeah, they just like fill up a basket with like oysters, and they'll be down there for minutes at a time, going down 70, 80, 90 feet, or even more. Um, and then like over time, it's unfortunate because everyone's becoming like modernized now, so it's becoming like a dying art. So there's like
Yeah.
10 Amma left.
Yeah.
And he goes to try to like meet them, and they're like, I don't want to like talk to this guy.
And
And
even before that, people are just like, there's none left. Like, that's an old
mm,
myth. Like, they don't really exist anymore. Turns out, but then he like finds people where they're like, oh yeah, of course, like yeah, they're still around, they're rare, and and then he eventually finds someone that like knows where to find
mm,
them, which is so cool.
I
Like
mean,
tracking down, like
tracks him down, goes to
yeah,
Japan, finds him, meets him one day, and he's with like a translator, and they're like, maybe come back tomorrow, and they want to like see if he'll actually show up the next day, like early, and he shows up the next day, and they're like, they answered like three or four of his questions, and like that was it, and they're like, we have to
yeah,
go dive.
yeah,
Um, but like that's so badass. Like
yeah,
this is a pro women podcast.
yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah.
And he mentioned that they think that like the women have like a better connection with the ocean. Like
Oh
they can
yeah,
feel the rhythm of the ocean better.
yeah,
Stuff like that is so cool.
and
Like I
just
wish obviously I'm so jealous like women could do that.
yeah,
Clearly I had no rhythm in the ocean when I tried, so that must be true.
yeah. I'd be too afraid to even have that much rhythm. Like one, terrified of sharks. So like you catch me in, I'm not going past 2.5 feet.
The
Like I'm
key is you don't
going.
you don't want to be the furthest guy out.
That is important, but I feel like
I
I don't even
always
want to be.
I see some like 12-year-olds and I say
Yeah.
I'm standing 5 feet.
Yeah. No, that is smart, but
They were so cool. I thought like that was awesome.
that is just a really cool
Just
thing.
to
That
know
would
like
that would have been
that's
a
a
great like
thing in history that we're losing stinks
I
and
know.
it's still happening is like insane. Like that's some people's lives every day is like we're just a group of women and we just go and like
Yeah.
free dive and like collect oysters and stuff for our village.
It's also like
It's
sad
like
that
what?
that is so cool and like I would love to see like a video on that, but instead like all the videos we have are just like stupid TikToks and
Right, it's like
literal garbage
grocery store
about like
pranks.
Kim Kardashian, yeah, and grocery store pranks. Whereas like there's people out there like I'll never forget
Mm,
that video. Have you ever seen the video of the guy like diving down and walking at the bottom of the ocean? He looks like he's like
I think.
Filipino or
I think
something and
I
he's got a spear
did
gun.
some YouTubing after this
Yeah.
book and saw it.
And he goes down for like 6 minutes,
Walks
just
around.
walks around at the bottom of the ocean with a
So cool.
belt, just like shooting fish, and then just like comes up and like no problem at all. Like it's a really famous video. And I think it's got like
Mm.
probably like 100 million views. Like but it should have 100 billion
It
views. Like I
should.
don't know if there's that many people in the world, but like
Everyone should watch it like
at
five or
least
six
5, 6 times.
times. Yeah.
It is one of the craziest videos ever. But it just, I think what it shows is like what we're capable of in the water, and that was kind of the Amba thing. Was
One
like,
of my favorite parts of the whole book.
yeah, that they were
Um,
capable of just like diving so deep, so well, so easily. Like they weren't doing it for sport, but they were essentially almost like keeping pace with what the sport is. But it also shows you like the sport of free diving is like anything else, where it's like you take something that's fun and people just make it so competitive and
so
so
that was one of my discussion questions, which was, are you team? Because it kind of was like two different camps of like, are you team free diving competition, see
yeah,
how deep you can go, or are you team free diving for like research and connection with the ocean?
yeah. I would never say it should be illegal because I think people should have the right to do what they
No,
want
just like
and
what camp would you be? Put
yes.
yourself into.
But I would say I think the free diving for sport is just stupid and dangerous and a
Yeah,
waste of everyone's time
it's
and
odd.
money.
Like I'm,
Yeah.
I'm out here to connect with the ocean. I
Yeah.
want to be, I want to be one.
Like I don't care how
Yeah.
deep you went down, having like a balloon pull your lifeless body to the surface.
As you bleed from your eye sockets and
Yeah.
ears and everything. I'm all about like going in, reconnecting with nature, whether it's free diving or the earth or anything cool like that.
Yeah.
'Cause I think we've like lost all of that. So
I
like,
I totally
yeah,
agree.
I got one more thing. Let me tell you about synchronous coral spawning.
That's good because I have nothing in here about that, so I can lock in.
So this stuff is just so cool, and it kind of reminded me of like the oysters that are like resonating with the earth at like
Yeah,
certain times, and if you move them, they like change.
yeah,
So the way the coral reproduces, and like no one understands how this works, is there's like a certain time, and the coral like male and females like release sperm and eggs into the ocean, and it's like
yeah,
this huge like milky mist, which is
yeah,
probably hilarious, but like and then all those like kind of like meet up in the ocean. That's how they reproduce.
yeah,
Like they have no idea how they know it all do it at the same time. like clear, like there's some kind of coordination
Yeah,
and communication there. Because like if you have one male, one female, and or one male, and he just shoots his sperm out into the ocean, that's gonna be gone
yeah,
2 seconds.
yeah,
One same if one female does it.
yeah.
But if you have thousands of coral all
Do it
doing
at the
that at the
same
same time
time.
and it goes in and then you get enough that kind of meet and match together and
Yeah,
that's how you can kind of reproduce to get more coral. And no one knows how they know to all do it at the same time. It
yeah,
happens at like it's not just like once a week or like there's no pattern to it at all. It's just like randomly they're all just
yeah,
like sure let's F and do it.
yeah.
Boom. It goes up, covers the whole ocean, and then like all that's how they reproduce.
Kind of love it.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah,
Like how we clearly have no understanding about anything works.
yeah,
Like we have to just admit that. I think humans are like so cocky. Like he talked about this one thing called like Boyle's Law, and I forget what it was. It was something about like the way that like gas changes for like certain volumes or something, and it's a law. And then they disproved it by doing something. So it's like, let's stop pretending like we know things. We can be
yeah.
like, hey, we think that the moon does this and it affects the tides, but like we don't fucking know.
No,
And like we can kind of recognize some patterns, but instead they say, this is blah blah blah, XYZ and how it happens.
yeah,
And then that turns me off. So I'm like, like, don't tell me how it works.
yeah.
I'll figure it out how it goes.
No, it is a
It's just
weird thing that we
we know
do
nothing.
that, yeah. We say things are facts that turn out to be not facts, and then it makes you question other
What else?
facts.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then you go, what else are we wrong about?
And I know that's a
Okay.
big thing with like we've been trying to get into an
And
evolution book, and
yeah,
a big thing with like anthropology is
he talked about like robins, like
just
the
the
way that they
dates
migrate.
constantly changing, you know? Like
Yeah.
you and being off not by a couple of years, being off by
Mm.
like 1,000 years,
Oh my God.
or 2,000 years.
So then they did a study of humans, um, like so we're so much capable of so much more. They take all these college kids, blindfold them, drive them,
Yeah.
however many miles away. Be like, which way is your school? And they will go and they go like that way, and it'd be correct like 80% of the time.
Wow, that's
And they're
pretty crazy.
that's insane.
Yeah.
And then they kept reproducing it, like different schools, different kids, different
Yeah.
people, different times. And it's like, something is
Yeah.
there that like we don't understand.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's the fourth dimension.
it is. And so many animals have the ability to do that. Like that's the turtle thing where they're all spawned on like that same island.
Right. Like, how
And
is
then they
that
don't
happening?
revisit the island for
Are
like
they
a
guessing?
100 years or like 50 years. And then after like 50 years when they're ready to reproduce, they all go at the exact same time. Like someone explained that.
Explain. Yeah.
They only visit that island
This
twice.
stuff pumps
Literally,
me up so
yeah,
much. Like,
they're
how?
born there and then they come back there to spawn. And it's like a little dot in the middle of the ocean.
He talked about robins and like they migrate and they like hop a certain way and that's like the direction that they'll be migrating in or something. And they're
Yeah,
all like hopping around on the ground. Like there's like a pattern to that. Like when you see birds jumping, you don't think about it, but like
nah.
everything actually like matters. Whew. God damn, this stuff's good.
No, it's really cool. The animal thing is great, but it's also there was a part of me that understood why like Schnoller was kind of bitching the entire time about like not having funding and having to make his own
You get
submarines and
it.
stuff like that. But there's a part of me that's just like, look, I got enough problems in my life, like
I'm trying
as
to pay the
much as
bills here.
yeah,
I
as
can't
much
be
as I
echolocated all the
yes,
time
as much as I want Schnoller in the water echolocating with dolphins,
every day.
can't be on my
I
dime.
got mortgage, I
Yeah.
got stuff
Like
to
trust me, like you think I don't want to get out there, go to the middle of the ocean in a boat and do some free diving with dolphins, and call that science? Like I'd like to do that as well.
this is something I wrote down too, where it's like part of how we've lost our connection with the earth and everything. It's like
Yeah.
we're living in the 0.0000001% of the history of the earth where like people have jobs.
Yeah.
Like even 100 years ago, like people you
I
didn't
know.
really have
And I
jobs.
feel like that's
It's a
come
new
up
thing.
a lot with like AI, where people are saying like,
What do you do? Like
yeah,
what
like
would it be
if you
like?
didn't need to work and you were just able
It's
to
like
like,
so like the whole history of humanity, and now all of a sudden we're like, actually, like you should be inside, like sitting at a desk, and it's like,
yeah,
well, is that what I'm like supposed to
I
be
know.
doing?
And then people are worried that if you're not inside sitting at a desk, like, like are
Like this
you
guy's a freak. He's like
yeah,
echolocating the dolphins
I
and like
know.
whacking them off.
But it's also like we can't all be doing that. Like we can't all be like if AI just like took all of our jobs and everyone just like let's just say everyone was rich. Everyone can't just like go to the beach every day Or everyone can't just be like, yeah, let me echolocate with these dolphins, or like, let me
Then you have
go
200
chill in this
people trying to
island.
echolocate with one dolphin. It's
Yes,
not gonna
like
work.
it's just I don't really get it.
I don't know the right answer, but like I feel like we've moved away from the right answer.
We have.
You know what I mean?
I think part of the problem with a lot of that stuff, and I looked this up recently with like Qatar, because with the World Cup going on
Mm,
and Qatar held the last one and they were like accusing them of like using like slaves and stuff to like build the
yeah.
stadiums. So I like looked up like how do things work in Qatar. Turns out works out pretty well for the Qatarians.
Yeah.
One, they're like one of the five richest countries in the world.
Dang.
Didn't know that.
Didn't know that.
They're like the number one producer of natural gas. So their government sells their natural gas and they're Qatarians, like the natural, probably not even the right word, but the people that are
I like
from
it.
Qatar,
Yep.
they don't pay taxes. They don't pay sales tax. They don't pay any taxes whatsoever.
I'm
In
listening.
fact, they actually get a check from the government. They get a cut of the natural gas that they sell.
Whoa.
So all of them are incredibly rich. They don't even have to work.
Huh.
Problem is, only 12%, I think, of the country are actually from Qatar. Everyone else is people that they bring in to do all the work that they don't want to do. So those are the technically slaves.
Slay.
So they have like
That's where it
essentially
gets tricky.
it gets really tricky. But in that situation, it works for them because they're only giving like 12% of their country the wealth. In our situation, like if they were like AI is gonna replace your job, but don't worry, we're gonna give you a check. Our country, it's everyone, it'd be 100%. They'd have to give that money to 100% of the people. And if they gave money to 100% of the people, the money that they give you is actually not worth anything because everyone just got the same amount of money.
Yep. Yep. That's why this whole like universal basic income makes no
It
sense.
makes
Like it
no
doesn't.
sense to
It
me.
doesn't
Like if
work.
everyone just got the same amount of money,
It would be like having zero
it'd
dollars.
be like having zero
It's
dollars.
like,
Like
oh,
I
you.
can't go to the store and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy this PlayStation for $500," because like there'd be 500,000 other people being like, "I'll buy for 500
Yeah.
bucks."
It's like, okay, well, I'll sell it to you for 550 then. And it's like,
Yes,
oh, well, okay, then I'll sell it to you
yes,
for 650.
yes.
It's like, oh,
Makes no sense,
God.
but I guess
See,
we'll see.
that's how far away we are from the Earth and nature. Is like we're thinking AI and PlayStations. We should be unplugging these
We
things.
should be, but I'd be worried that I'd unplug like at that Turtle Beach that I was talking about, but so would 500 other million people. Like they'd want to unplug at that Turtle Beach too.
True, true, true. Trying to think what else I have here. This is cool. Ancient Sri Lankans would to find out like if they wanted to know if there was whales around, they would stick their paddle in the ocean and like put their ear up to it, and
Yeah.
they could feel the vibration of like the sperm whale clicks, and then that's how they knew that they were like around a sperm whale. Like that's cool.
You think they're pretty good at that or no? Because they're so deep.
Dude, ancient Sri Lankans can do it. We can't
That's
do it.
no, yeah.
Ancient Sri Lankans can do it because they didn't have AI.
See, I do think like we do have to be careful in some of these books that we have to check some of these things.
We gotta check them.
And I'm gonna go get 10 ducks on my way home. You meet me by the pond near your house, and we'll test some of
We're
these
gonna get some
things.
ducks.
Yeah,
I think the only other thing I had was like the sperm whales, their clicks are like the loudest sound that any animal makes. I thought that was cool.
that's crazy.
Travels miles away. Like you could potentially hear it around the whole globe,
Yeah.
which is the most absurd thing you could possibly ever try to wrap your head around.
Some of the ocean animals, like the way sharks can smell blood, or like the
A
way they can
dolphin
detect movement.
could tell the difference between like a ping pong ball and a golf ball from like 6 miles
I
away
remember that,
because
yeah.
they can echolocate. So they're like kind of like bats. They can get these like radio waves back,
Yeah.
and they can like they see through you. It's like they're seeing inside of you. So like I think they can tell things that like we can't tell by looking at other persons. Like if a dolphin
So
sees
crazy.
you and your heart rate's like all out of whack, this guy is like
Needs help.
he either
Which
needs
is why
help,
dolphins sometimes like
I'm gonna
do, I
help
think,
him,
save people.
or
Yeah.
he's like a foe.
Yeah.
Like his heart rate, he's gearing up for
And I'm
something.
gonna bite them.
I'm gonna bite his leg off. He's eating lunch here,
Yeah.
and they know that.
They know sharks are dicks, which is why they're always attacking sharks. And they know humans are pretty cool for the most part, so they're
Mm.
usually pretty chill with humans.
Last thing I have, good quote. Never enter the ocean unless you are at peace with yourself and your surroundings.
Love that.
And I lived by that at the beach this week. On July
Yeah.
4th, I said, someone's like, "Oh, you want to come and swim with me?" And I said, I'm actually not really at peace right now with
Yeah.
myself and my
Give me
surroundings.
30
Give
minutes.
me 30 minutes to come
Yeah.
check in with me.
Yeah.
And I reset. and they checked in, and I said,
Yes.
I'm at peace now.
I like that.
I'm gonna go in,
I think that's good, not just for the ocean, but for life.
and for yeah, like a pool or
Like
just like anything.
I think just like take your time before you leave your bedroom in the morning, make sure you're at peace.
Make sure you're
Before
peace with
you
yourself and
leave
your
your house or your
surroundings.
apartment,
Great rule.
make sure you're at peace.
Yep.
And if you're not at peace, do us a favor.
Stay in bed.
Stay in bed.
Read Untethered Soul and then
Yeah.
find some peace. I think that was like most of the notes I had. Again, like I just had so much fun listening to this book. It's just such a great topic. He hits so many just like fun facts that you're like, how do I not know this kind of thing?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I love everything about it.
He's the man.
The best.
He's like this won't be the last James Nestor book that we
I hope he
read.
has more,
And if he
or
does like a
he's
concert or something like that, I would show up to a James Nestor concert.
one thing I kind of respected about him, and I don't know if it was an interview or when he came to work and someone asked him a question, and I asked him a question too, which was also awesome.
Yeah.
I asked him if it was okay if I shut taped my baby's mouth shut.
Which I thought was a bit
It's
dicey.
a
That wouldn't have
good
been the question
question.
that I would
Good.
ask,
He said he was like, "This is
but
a
he
really
liked
good
it.
question."
Yeah.
Um,
Which is why you know he's the man. Most people would have
I think
shielded away from that.
I think he was on Theo Vaughn, who's probably a lot better at asking questions than me.
Yeah.
Um, and I think this is where he said it. He was kind of like, "Oh, like what's next? Like what's the next thing?" He did breath, like,
Yeah.
and he was like, "No, like that's it. Like this is what's important. Like I'm not gonna
Wow.
just like do like another thing
Do
to do
something to
another
do it.
thing.
Yeah.
Like this is it." And I was like, "Dang,
No, yeah.
that's sick."
No, and I think, I mean, check our rankings and our James Net.
Right.
Like if we were to rank authors, which might be next year's thing, like after,
Ooh.
which I kind of like,
Ooh.
he,
That's hard. But yeah,
it is. But like him, Gladwell, and I feel like the thing about him is
are
really
nice.
doesn't disappoint.
Doesn't. The
And
good
like,
authors don't.
yeah,
Very
Gladwell, I
good.
don't think disappoints, but I do think sometimes I sour on him a little bit by some of his takes, I feel
Yeah.
like, or maybe
He puts his own stuff in a little
he
bit, maybe.
does. And sometimes I disagree with it a little bit,
Yeah.
but still, it's like I've never been disappointed by Gladwell.
Should we rate?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want to
So
start?
it's a good rating. I had a number coming in my head. I'm gonna bump it up a little bit. Here's my theory. If we had not read Breath,
Yeah.
what would I give this book?
I I didn't think of that, but
Because
I
it's
couldn't agree more with it.
because Breath's 5 star, no questions, and
Yeah,
this is not as good as Breath,
I agree.
but only be,
Maybe
but not because it's not good, but
but
only
maybe because
because
we
Breath
read it
is so
second.
good.
Or
You know what I mean?
even
And
maybe
that,
because we read it second. It's like we said
yeah.
with the vaccine books that it's
But like
like
I'm,
Paul Thomas vaccine was probably the worst vaccine book, but because we
but
read
maybe
it
the best.
first, it almost made it the best because it was the most like
Yeah,
most shocking.
yeah,
Like when I would read a Paul Thomas thing about vaccines, I would just be like, "Oh my God." Versus when I read it from like
after
Dissolving
yeah,
Illusions, I was just like, "Oh yeah, I know that already."
100%.
And that totally changes how good a book can be for you.
Yeah, but like at the end of the day, I loved it reading it, loved talking about it, was so excited to talk about it.
Yeah.
Talked about it every second at the beach to people who didn't want to hear about it.
Yep.
So I'm gonna give it 4.85.
Wow.
I'm going for it.
Wow, really high.
Yeah, high, but
Because
like
that's a 5 star.
I'm thinking like why not?
Yeah.
You know, I don't have like anything against it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like oh I wish this or that. Like let me just give the book give the good books good numbers.
I think
That's my new
that's
theory.
I think that's fair. I personally gave it a 4-4,
Okay,
but I put it there kind of based off of what you
interesting.
were saying. I thought you were gonna go in a similar direction. Was that it's not Breath, which is 5 star.
Yep.
It is the highest 4 star that you can have, which I think we said 4, 5 would still be 4 star, but like once you get into the 4, 6, 4, 7s, now all of a sudden that's kind of a 5 star because you
But
got to
yeah,
round. At a certain point, you have to round.
yeah. My thing is like if you could go above 5, Breath is above 5.
I
So to
agree.
even cap it at 5 is a slap in the face of how good Breath is.
It is, but
So I didn't want to hurt this book comparing it to Breath.
yeah.
Um,
No, the real question is, does it get on your top 10 list?
it
Does it
wouldn't be
get,
top 10.
does it beat Empire Pain?
Ooh,
And like a 4.85
I'd
probably
say
does.
I'd say it's slightly below Empire of Pain based on breadth with a D
Yeah,
in there because Empire of Pain was like covers so much on such a big topic, and this
yeah,
one like led to breadth and was awesome.
yeah.
Um, what, so I couldn't put this above some of my top 10.
I like that we have that up though.
I know I'm referencing, but like it would be
It'd be right
like
out.
I just don't have anything bad to say about it. So like,
Same thing.
why knock it down? Like if I give Theory of Everything, I probably have to rescale my whole thing, like a 4.3.
Yeah,
Like this is so much better than that.
I agree
You
with
know what I
that.
mean? Just in
Yeah,
terms of it's different because
readability
like
and
that's like more something to learn. This is like just pure enjoyability. Like
yeah.
this is pure fun.
But I think like we say that with our ratings sometimes that
If you looked at all of our ratings, it would make no
I
sense
don't think
because
so.
it's hard in the moment because you're so just in that book versus like the whole landscape of all of the
Well, that's why I
books.
think the top 10 list was so important.
It was maybe the most important thing we've ever
I
done
think so. Like it was maybe one of the things that I put the most amount of thought into
in a long
in
time.
a long time because I agree with you. I think there was a lot of books that if I looked at my ratings, like I think like you said, I think if you looked at all of our ratings live and then you looked at our top 10, I can promise you they
Mhm.
don't match up.
Yeah.
But if you actually like go back and you think about like what makes a rating, what makes the top 10 list, I think like how much the information stays with you matters.
This will be high on that.
Like Rape and Nanking, I think we both thought pretty highly of because even though I don't think I put it in my top 10, I think it was just outside.
Yeah, I had a 7
Yeah, I think mine was just outside, and I think a big part of it was just like I was still talking about the Rape and Nanking,
today.
a year after.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've read Rape of Nanking and some of the other books. Like I was actually looking at my Audible. I don't even like. There's a couple of books that I don't even remember what it's about. Like Cat Massacre, I think at the time we really liked, but like if you were like, what is the
I
Cat Massacre
I
about? I
remembered
can maybe give you a sentence or two.
it was the nursery rhymes.
Yeah.
Then it was the actual story of the Cat Massacre,
Yes,
French
where
Revolution.
it's like the poor people.
Story from the peasant's point of view instead of like from the king's point of view.
But outside
And
of
then he went
that,
into like other stuff, which the second half of the book wasn't as good. It was like
yeah,
the tax collector and like the police reports and stuff.
yeah.
But yeah,
I struggled
I
a
agree with
little
what you
bit
said.
with that, even though I think like when I read it, I was like, I really like this.
I
It's different.
some books resonate, say with you
They
more.
do. And I think this is one that will resonate with us more, but I think also like our composite ranking is probably perfect. 4.625.
Whoa. What so you did 4.4?
4.4, 4.85, right?
Yeah. You did that in
4.625.
your head?
In my head, but
You didn't
it took me some time.
I was just that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I would have used a calculator.
It
That's
could
a
be wrong
it's a
though too.
good segue though to our next book because Empire of Pain, Patrick Radden Keefe.
Yeah.
99% sure. I really hope that's not wrong. Is also
It fits because I thought you did such a good
our
job.
next book.
But you want to set it up? I gotta run, take a piss.
Yeah. Do you want to should we grab a beer?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fridge.
Yeah. Your choice.
All right.
I'll set this up. I got a lot to say actually. What do we got?
Yeah, this actually might be good. Might be good if I don't do this.
Right. All right. So before we get into the next book, quick digression, and we'll just do a stream of consciousness here. Not exactly sure what's going on in the world, but just need to get our thoughts down. Today, Lindsey Graham, we wake up dead. And now that's interesting. And that ties to a lot of what we've talked about in this podcast before, where I made fun of him a lot. And then I wake up and I see that he died and I feel bad. And it's like, wow, like, shouldn't have made fun of somebody because now they're dead and that's a real person. But then I think about this person might be responsible for the deaths of tens of millions of people based on his political and weird viewpoints of other countries. So then I get myself into a pretzel and it's like, what is actually the right way to think about this in the world? And there's a lot more to come out about it, so I'll hold off on saying more. It's just very confusing. When they say brief and sudden illness, it makes you pause and think. I can't think of one illness that's brief and sudden that kills you. Um, but obviously we're gonna find out more and we'll see where this turns. And just wanted to make sure we got that out there right now so that we know, where the book club stands on this. And, I'm definitely not speaking for both of us right now. Um, but again, we talk about, sometimes people say like, oh, Ted Bundy killed like 15 people. It's like, Lindsey Graham might be responsible for like 6 million people dying, maybe more. Um, if you really talk about like the starvation and stuff from like some of his economic policies. So it's really absolutely crazy. That was really fast. I barely said what I needed to say.
I think that's a good sign
Probably should edit
for
out
what's
whatever
coming
I
up.
just said because I didn't even talk about the book once.
Yeah.
I talked about Lindsey Graham dying today.
Okay. Who
So
was that?
senator from South Carolina,
Okay.
who's like very like vocal and like in the news a lot. And
Yeah.
he woke up today, or didn't didn't wake up today
Yeah.
from a brief and sudden illness, which I don't know what the full story is yet, but that to me, I can't name one brief and sudden illness that just kills you.
Yeah. It seems to be happening more and more.
Yeah, and there's a lot.
They also seemed like they used to
mm,
always be like cause of death this. Now they're just like cause of death
Please don't
unknown.
contact us.
Yeah.
Like, and so we have Say Nothing, a true story of murder and memory in Northern Ireland. Patrick Radden Keefe. This is a big book.
It is. There's a lot of notes at the end like
Yep, because this is another, 5-star author. Empire of Pain is essentially a 5-star book.
I agree.
So he's going to be thorough
But do you
about
see
it.
how many like things at the end like
Yep, I'm looking right now. Oh boy, good to know before I open my beer.
yeah. What's crazy is didn't that happen last time and yours did or didn't?
Yeah, yeah.
I think yours did too, right?
I think we were one and one. I'm gonna give that a second.
Like what are you guys doing to these beers?
Honestly, not touching them in between book meetings in any way at all. This is the only time any alcohol gets touched at this house. Um, so you want to start off opening thoughts?
Yeah. Um so one, let me check this beer.
Nope.
Yeah. Um
I
one
feel like you got too much joy out of that.
yeah, I knew it was gonna happen because I knew I didn't do anything special with mine. Um
We're ready.
One, it was such a good book club book. Like, I think this was like a little bit, this was one of the few books that I wish that we could talk throughout the week about the book because I felt like I kind of needed it a little bit.
Check-ins.
Yeah, like I actually, so this book I did about half reading, half audio, which I actually really
I
liked.
love doing that.
Yeah,
It's the best way.
so cool. So and some of it I actually like went back, maybe did some audio and just kind of like went back 3 or 4 minutes
I
and
didn't know you
started from the
got the hard
beginning chapter.
copy of the book.
So I personally didn't, but Ariana did for me. I'm still like
I'm
struggling with
I'm
libraries and
jealous. I just wish I knew. I like it. If I knew you had the hard copy,
you would have got it.
maybe I would have tried harder to get it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I just want to know what's going on.
that's I should have I'll let you know which ones that we're doing hard copy because I do think that matters as well.
It
Because I do
changes.
think you want the same experience.
It changes the experience.
Yeah,
Because so this audiobook, the reader had like a full like Irish
it
accent,
was an
so
accent
it
thing.
kind of helped. I didn't like it at first, but I
Yes.
do think it kind of helps put you in like the time almost
It
like.
did, but I think going to the book, I think actually like periodically really
Mm,
helped that because like you read it without the accent, I feel like you understand it a lot more.
yeah,
I actually this is one that would actually recommend the book, not the audio,
I could see that.
because of the accent and like I do struggle with
Mm.
accents.
It was no Maggie Gyllenhaal,
No,
that's
no,
for
it
sure.
was yeah. It weirdly was yeah, I mean like you said, I think the accent was cool, but I also like at the beginning of
It,
the book was really struggling.
I was struggling to understand
Yeah,
because
with like what's going on and who's versus who.
Irish not it's not the best accent.
No,
You have
it's not a good
some
accent.
really good accents.
It
Um,
depends what you're doing. Like if you're Conor McGregor and it's like you're just
right, it
yelling
works.
mean stuff at people and I don't need to understand half of it because I can just tell that
You're
you're
just
upset.
spewing like drunk gibberish.
Yeah, it's like then it's great.
Yes.
You know, like him calling people a fool and stuff like that. Like I think
Hmm.
that's amazing.
Yep.
Because like, if I was just like you're a fool, nobody th would think that's cool. But like, if you're Conor McGregor and you're calling someone a fool, you could barely understand it. It just sounds amazing. Like it just sounds really cool.
100%.
This book, though, on the other hand, you needed to know what's going on. Like, I don't want to hear a bunch of drunk gibberish in my ear.
It's a
Like,
lot of
a
names.
lot of
And everyone's
names,
named Seamus.
yes, and also like a lot of like Protestants versus Catholics
Right. So what is
versus Provos
mhm.
versus
So what is this book about? It's
yeah,
the essentially about like the struggle between the Irish Catholics and the British Protestants in Northern Ireland from
yeah,
like maybe 1960 through like present day, which I think was like
yeah.
2010-ish.
It's pretty recent.
Yeah, maybe even a little bit further than that.
And everyone, I feel like, has heard of the IRA. So, like, that's the first thing is I feel like everyone's heard of the IRA. And most of the things you hear about the IRA are that they like sell guns to other countries, right?
I think I've like maybe heard of it, but I definitely didn't know anything.
So, like,
Like
I think of like, again, all TV shows and movies, but like, I think about
mm,
like Sons of Anarchy and like the IRA selling them
mm,
guns and like
okay,
some of the other movies will be like the IRA, they're really crazy about like not ratting on each other.
that
Or
was
like,
big.
yeah. And like I
That's almost
almost
like the
thought
whole point of the book.
half of it, yeah. Um,
So it starts with the story of Jean McConville.
yeah,
She's a mom, mother of 10. And she, I forget the split, but her and her husband were Catholic and Protestant,
yeah.
and they married each other. And that was like a no-no because Catholics and Protestants hated each other in Northern Ireland. So essentially, like this family became like the source of like a lot of hate and like
But let's
vandalism.
pause there. What is the difference between Catholic and
Thank
Protestant?
that
Because I
was
thought it
my
was like very minimal, if anything.
yeah. So I didn't know either.
Yeah.
Or I guess I never really thought about it.
Because I thought it was almost like that's the thing is like that was almost like my first note is like I'm
Hmm.
confused between all the different things and like Catholic and Protestant and then like but then it was like Ireland versus
Britain.
Great Britain,
Yeah.
which like I can understand, but
Yeah.
like
So there's a few things here, and I also don't understand any of them,
yeah,
but I
oh,
will explain them.
nice. In excruciating
The-
detail.
yeah. So, um, I asked AI, I said, in one sentence, what is the difference between Catholics and Protestants?
Yeah.
The only di like the driving difference is that um Catholics recognize the Pope and the Vatican,
Okay.
and Protestants do not.
So I'm
So
more Protestant.
it's like the
You're
head of the
probably more
church.
Catholic.
I'm full Catholic.
Yeah.
I'm Pope life.
Yeah.
I'm full Pope.
I'm like kind of like, who is this
I never met this
guy?
guy. Um, so then I'm like, this seems like a pretty minor detail to like want to kill your neighbor
Totally.
for.
Yeah.
So like,
Like you
I
both
had a hard time under wrapping my head around the whole
like you both
conflict
believe in Jesus
from that.
Christ. You both are essentially
Yeah.
going to the same church every day.
So then this morning, Amy's like, "What are the books about?" And I start saying,
Good question.
and she's like, I said that, and she's like, actually, Protestants started because this is very similar to Mormonism. Started because King Henry, she's like, because the English king wanted to divorce his wife, and divorce wasn't recognized by the Catholic Church. And he's like, I need a way to divorce this chick.
Nice.
And he started, and then that's how it came
And he
about.
was like actually
And I looked it
agnostic.
up, so I was like, that is absolutely incorrect, and I will 100% fight to the death to prove it.
So
I
that's wrong.
That was right. I searched it, and it's 100% accurate. So King Henry VIII
Yeah.
wanted to divorce Catherine of Aragon,
Okay.
which is an awesome name,
So
and
it
someone
actually
who
is
you don't want to
so
divorce.
it actually has nothing to do with the Pope and recognizing all that. It's pretty
It's
much just they
two
split off from
it's two
being
different things.
Catholic.
So King Henry VIII wanted to marry Anne Boleyn. You might have heard of like that's a really famous name from like history class.
Yeah.
So he wanted to divorce Catherine of Aragon for Anne Boleyn. He goes to the Pope. I
I
think
think I've heard of Catherine of Aragon.
right. This is like a famous thing which I forgot about.
Yeah.
He goes to the Pope and is like, "Hey Pope, can you help me annul this marriage so I could get rid of this one chick and marry this other chick?"
But I also thought they weren't allowed to like marry at all.
The king?
Well, the king is,
The
but
king's getting, he's married.
the
He's trying to
Pope
switch.
not
Pope
married.
not married. Pope's deciding whether or not it's like okay to like
Got
annul
it,
this
got it, got it.
marriage because
Okay.
the marriage is like a
Yeah,
sacrament.
yeah, yeah.
So the Pope is like, absolutely not. You just want to like,
You just
you're
want to bang this younger
you're
chick.
just trying to get on after Anne Boleyn right now.
Yeah.
So the King Henry VIII is like, That's
He's
BS.
probably just like,
So
what
yeah, he gives one of those.
did the Mormon
So
thing?
he's essentially like setting everything up and pushing, and like in tandem, while that's happening, Martin Luther is like writing his like own stuff, and like Lutheranism or
Nice.
Lutheranism or whatever
Which is also very similar.
is like kind of starting. So like King Henry kind of started the like political movement behind it, and Martin Luther started like the religious movement behind becoming Protestant and breaking away from the Catholic Church.
Got it.
That all happened at once, kind of like in tandem, and that's kind of just like how it happened, which is all like complete like what do
It's
we fight
more of
like
it's more of what we already knew, which is how intertwined the religions are. And I think the same thing happened within the IRA of this book, that like they all started in the IRA. And then based off of like whoever was in charge, when they started making decisions that other people didn't agree with, they started splitting into subsections of the
yeah
IRA
yeah
and then calling it different things like the Provos and the Lilies
yeah.
or
Oh, so the other thing about that I wanted to get into for the background of my big explanation was so you have that kind of happening, and then you have the geography of Northern Ireland,
yeah,
which like sits on top of Ireland,
yeah,
literally, Northern Ireland, but it's part of the United Kingdom.
yeah.
So you have United Kingdom,
Is Ireland part of the United Kingdom?
no.
It's
So you have
not.
United Kingdom is like England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland. There might be one more. I can't remember.
Okay.
So then part of it is like there's Catholic people in Northern Ireland,
Yeah.
and they're kind of like the OG, a little more OG Irish. They're like, we want to be part of Ireland.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
don't want to be part of the
Then
UK.
why does Ireland not step in and be like, hey, we want you?
They're like, we don't even want these guys.
Because they're
No, I
Catholic
think
or
actually that's actually a good question. I don't know that. I think, but I think what happens is, especially now, like the people in Ireland are like, we kind of want to be in the or in Northern Ireland, or like we kind of want to be part of the UK.
they
So I think
want to
there's a
be
lot of
now
yeah, because like even the Catholics. So I think there's a lot of benefit to
instead
being
of
in the
being
part
what,
of
their
Ireland,
own country or part of Ireland?
part of Ireland, because
Okay.
the whole thing was like a united Ireland, and that was like in the 1960s. That was like the big thing. But I think now there's like some benefit to being in the UK, and people are kind of just over it. That they're like, we don't really care as much. But I think at the time, so I was trying to figure out like why are they fighting so much?
Yeah.
It's like who cares if there's like a pope or not? You're in Ireland and England,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the Rome's over there.
See, I thought that it was more because they were like
It's like
under British control.
so like that was a huge part of it in the 60s,
Yeah.
and they were also like completely getting like vandalized and discriminated against like the Protestants but the Catholics because the Protestants had more power because it was like they were like the UK people.
Yeah.
um so there was a lot of that, and there was a potato famine.
Yeah.
So there was a potato famine where Ireland people in Ireland like literally starving to death,
Yeah.
like
What caused that, by the way?
so England
Some
like
sort of pest?
no, England needed food.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
English
yeah. They like took a
they
bunch
were
of their food,
hungry.
right?
English boys were hungry,
Yeah.
and they said, "Yo, Ireland, you have so much food. We're gonna take it." Like, so they took and controlled like all the potatoes and like all the food,
Yeah.
and then the Irish people literally had nothing. Like they were starving, but there wasn't because it wasn't like there.
Yeah.
Like it was literally getting like taken. So then that kind of pissed them off too.
It was like the
So
Northern Iron Lung, where it was just like their number one fear back then was literally like starvation through
yeah,
food,
yeah,
which is like so
yeah.
crazy.
So you had like that whole backdrop of
I almost feel like
history.
that couldn't happen today. Like worst case scenario.
I think it's like almost
Like,
happening every single country except for ours.
is it?
Like, I think we're like, think of like,
Like I just think like worst case scenario. Like
but like,
even
yeah,
in like going back to the sci-fi movie I watched the other day, the sun's dying, so like temperatures are dropping by like 10, 15 degrees.
yep,
And then they say like all the crops are gonna die because it's gonna be too cold. But it's just like we got heating lamps, you got electricity. But I guess the electricity,
think about where most of our food comes from. It's probably maybe food is one thing, but like energy is like not the US. So like think about all
yeah,
the energy
other
rich
countries.
countries
Yeah.
that are really poor and like starving. So it's kind of like the same thing
Not
where like
Qatar though.
not Qatar because they have it right. But if you look at like the Congo, and they have like the most important source of like lithium that's used for like batteries and Teslas
Yeah.
and phones. And we take all of that for ourselves
From them,
from them,
for them. but for
for
us.
them, for
For
us.
us, yeah.
They
We
get
help them
give it
get,
to us.
yeah, give it to us so we can all have iPhones.
They get no benefit from it. They
Yeah.
starve to death, and
Well,
we're all
some
like
leader that's
so,
there is
so I
getting a
think there's
benefit, but the
right.
people are not getting a
Right, there's like
benefit.
three people probably getting really,
Yeah,
really rich
yeah,
in Congo. But I think there's like precedent for like obviously one country completely effing over another country in terms
yeah.
of like something that leads them to starve.
It is like so funny. I was thinking back a lot during this book that like because anytime like you're under like British control, like it's just like that's what I thought most of this was over. It was like they're just like pretty much like the
Fucking
American
God, you
Revolution.
see that?
Someone in there.
It's like a big old fly went in here.
Uh,
Like not even just like oh, it's like a
a
little
little one?
fly. What do? I pour it into the cup and then get the fly out?
I think
Like
so.
this is the biggest fly I've ever seen. Just
But
wait
I
until you see
mean,
this fly.
oh, I see it.
Do you see it?
Yeah,
Now I got like half beer, half.
it's interesting.
All right,
You also got a bit of a phone problem as well.
we're gonna let that settle. Uh, but I think that was one of the things I struggled with was like because even with all of that, I was like, what are they fighting over?
Yeah, it seemed like, and even when they went to prison, it was pretty much like, I'm fine being in prison, but I want to be in
This,
prison in Northern Ireland
you're like
or
this.
like in Ireland. And it's just
Oh,
like, if you're fine being in prison, like what difference does
this
it make where you are?
this is zooming ahead, but it's worthwhile. It's on it.
Yeah.
So there were like the Irish people were like fighting back, and they were essentially like, com you know, they would get arrested for like doing things,
Like
and
really pretty horrible terroristic things.
they
They were like bombing buildings, like
they,
killing
they would
people.
like
They were
do
like shooting police officers. They
they
were,
because I thought coming in that I would be 100% team Catholic and Irish,
me too.
rooting against the British,
Yeah.
and then I was kind of like everything they're doing like makes no sense.
Yeah.
They have no organization.
No.
They're just bombing things, and then they would end up killing a bunch of civilians and be like, "Oh, we actually had like the wrong car,"
Yeah.
like every single time.
Yeah, and they would say things like, like if like a British like military person like ordered pizza, they'd like kill the delivery guy and just be like he's contributing, like,
Yeah, like he's informed.
yeah, like he's
Yeah,
informing the British or like
they
helping the British
right,
eat, and it's just like whoa, like why don't we pick better targets here, guys? Like,
right. Like maybe they
and then they were
had
like killing a lot of their own people for the same reason, where it was like if
mhm.
someone was nice to like a British
All the people they
soldier,
killed were their own
people.
best, like the top people in their thing because they were like, we can't trust them anymore.
No, they were like pretty much like not even informing because they didn't even know anything. Like when we talk
Mm,
about McConville,
right,
she was just like a 40-year-old widow that had no involvement in the IRA, knew
right.
literally nothing, but
She
she
was
was like, no,
depressed and like trying to kill herself.
yeah, and was
Um,
like nice to a soldier one time that like had been shot and was in her
yeah.
hallway. So she like helped the guy survive, which I feel like is very like human instincts. And like they may have, may not have, not totally like proven in the book, which also jumping way ahead.
Yeah, we were all over the place.
Yeah, but I do kind of like books that don't have like definitive this is what happened, but like I'm gonna give you all the facts. Kind of like Chaos with Tom O'Neill.
Yes,
Like he was just like, I worked day and night to
for
try to find
20
out for
years.
20 years to try to find out exactly what happened with Charles Manson. And I like can't honestly tell you. Is the fly in there? I saw something come out.
You said you saw it.
Is that the bottom?
All right, so do flies float when they die? Or do you think it's in?
I
I'm
think it's in
telling
here.
you,
That's it.
do you? That's a big deal.
Is it in here?
I might just have to drink slowly and make
Oh
sure.
yeah, he's in here. Still
Yeah,
alive. Yeah,
still
he's still alive.
alive. Holy shit.
Yeah. Um,
All right, he's out. He's doing okay, actually.
yeah, he's crawling.
I don't know if he can fly again with those wings now.
He's gonna be hammer drunk.
He's gonna
Like,
be.
can you imagine if he even took a sip of beer?
It's like a human having like 700 beers.
Yeah,
It's just like you're gonna be hurting.
he's gonna be absolutely hammered. That's sad for him. I almost can't even watch.
We'll check on him in a bit.
Yeah. But I don't remember exactly where we are, and I'm
All
not
right,
gonna pretend to.
let's reset because we started
Yeah,
on.
yeah, we're all over the
We'll start
place.
with Jean McConville
Like it.
because we'll go back to the prison and all
Yeah,
the stupid stuff, and then back to the end.
love it.
So
So
she
we,
gets kidnapped.
yeah,
So
by the
essentially,
IRA.
essentially it's like her literally like they're her neighbors come and they're like
Yes.
you have to come with us.
For
And
like two reasons. One, she was like nice to a British soldier
right.
one time that had been shot in her hallway, and she like brought him water and like tried to save his life, which I feel like is human instinct.
Yep.
And then the second was that might have actually been it.
I think that was
But
it.
then they
That's all
thought
you
that
knew at the
maybe,
time. That's all
yes,
you knew was,
afterwards there might have been
and
some
she was half
rumors.
in a half Catholic, half Protestant family, and that put
Yes.
them on the radar.
And there might have been some rumors of like some listening devices in her apartment.
Right, but you don't
But
know
also,
that.
it's like she wasn't in the IRA, so like
Yeah.
listening devices in her apartment would have just picked
Yeah.
up 10 kids being absolutely wild while she was like, should I kill myself?
Yeah. So essentially, like she's a depressed woman. Like there's so much fighting going on in the town. They live in this like poor building, which she talks a lot about. Where like the walls are so thin, you can hear the people having dinner next to you,
Yeah,
and bombs are going off down the street, and like it's crazy. Like people are dying.
yeah,
She tries to kill herself a few times. Like she's depressed, so that made me kind of root against her. I was like, get rid of this chick.
yeah,
But a bunch of the neighbors come and they say you have to come with us. She has 10 kids.
yeah,
Um, and that was the last time they ever saw them. And the
yeah.
book kind of starts with that, and then it gets into like some of the other like key players
It was
and
more of,
events of this
yeah.
whole like revolution
And it
going
was
on.
more of like a kidnapping than like a, hey, let's come with us. Like they were wearing masks, and I think it was like five people, and they
But
pretty much just like took her.
I think,
Not all of them were wearing masks, but
yeah, like I
yeah,
think like because the kids I think were able to recognize some of the people. I
yeah.
think. Um, and
All
then
right,
the whole book is he kind of weaves in like history and different stories and like that story, and then he kind of
yeah. Which
ends
I
with
do,
like some of the facts about that story that you
yeah.
find out from the other people and their journeys.
Which I struggled with at the very beginning because it did feel like he was jumping all over the place, and I
First
had a
half, I struggled.
struggled. And then all of a sudden, I did actually start to enjoy that he was kind of weaving back and forth because once I figured
It
out
hit a
who
groove.
Jean McConville was and the Price sisters, then all of a sudden I was like, okay, now I
Yeah,
can get into this a little bit.
yeah. So,
So,
God,
okay, so yeah, basically she gets kidnapped and she gets murdered, and she becomes like one of like a group of people that they call like the disappeared. So pretty much the IRA was like disappearing these people, essentially murdering them and then burying their bodies so that they'd never be found. And it wasn't that many people. Like it was literally only like
16
yeah, like 16 people over the course of like 10
years.
years,
Yeah.
yeah, while they were really doing this. And then there was a guy,
Like
Jerry,
they killed a lot of people,
they
and
did.
normally they would just like dump the body in the street to like send a message, but like certain
Yes.
people they did not do that with, and
Yes.
that was like
More their
obviously
own
hard for the
people.
families
Yeah.
because it was such a tight knit community. They were in Belfast, and it's like such a small town. Like
Yes.
everyone knew everyone, so it kind of like added to
And it
it.
was like a debate of whether they should. So like even with Jean McConville, there was like a person or two being like, no, we should put her body in the street to be like, this is what happens when you inform. And then other people were just like,
Right.
no, we're not. We don't want to
Yeah.
publicize the fact that we're essentially killing our own people, which they were.
Should we keep like should we just say what happens, or should we talk
I think
about
keep.
like
I think go in the order of the book.
okay,
So then after that, you get introduced to Jerry Hughes and
Gerry Adams
Gerry
and Brandon
Adams.
Hughes?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So they're like a little tag team. They're like starting up these like bands of like rebels essentially that are like these British and Protestants are coming in.
yeah,
They're cramping our style. We gotta like fight back. And
yeah.
like the only way to do it is to be violent. Like
Yes.
we can't there were enough of this peaceful stuff. Because like in the 60s in America, the civil rights movement was kind of like Martin Luther King, like obviously there's a lot of violence, but like
Yeah.
some of the more effective methods were
Less
some
violent.
like the peaceful marches and the
Yeah,
sit-ins and things like that. And they were, I think they tried that a little bit, you mentioned, and they were like, F that.
yeah,
We're gonna bomb people. We need to fight back. We need to
yeah.
make like our voices heard. And they went like a completely opposite direction.
Totally. And went about it in like a very systematic way where it was just like Jerry Adams was pretty much in charge. Jerry Adams?
Yep. He was like the mastermind, and
Yeah.
Brandon Hughes was like the
His like
muscle,
muscle.
muscle and the
Yeah.
brain.
Yep. And then so pretty much like they were very involved in like so they needed weapons because they decided they were going to be violent. So in order to get the
Mm,
weapons, they would have to like do certain things to get money to then buy the weapons from like places like Libya and like Africa and like they were getting the weapons from all over the world. So they would like rob banks and shit, which is also like really cool that it's like you're
Robin Banks is cool, hands down.
well, it's just like we're sitting around being like, okay, like we're gonna fucking kill these British. Like, how are we gonna do it? And it's just like, we don't have a gun. We don't have a bomb. We don't have any way of getting those things.
No
Or it's
money.
like, we don't have any money. So it's like, all right, first thing, we need money. So it's like, where do we get money? Let's rob a bank. So they started like robbing banks and then using that money to then buy weapons. And then they use those weapons against the British. They're like bombing government buildings like courthouses and things like that. They're killing people. They're trying to put people in prison, but it's not that easy at first because they can't really prove and nobody's
And
really talking.
and a lot of like they like plan these things and like they just don't work out well. Where like they got really into like the car bombs.
Yeah,
Obviously it's a great fun drink to have at a bar, but I
yeah,
always thought that like an Irish car bomb was like a derogatory term in a
yeah,
way against the Irish. But like they were the ones doing the car bombing.
yeah.
Like the Irish were the bombing other people with
Oh yeah,
cars. So like they would set up a bomb in a car
yeah,
and set it off, and then almost every time they would just like kill a bunch of civilians that like
yeah.
not the people they were trying to
And they're
kill.
just like, ah, it is what it
They'd
is.
be like, yeah, it's like some bloodshed needs to happen in order
Yeah.
for us to like
Like they were
do
very,
something. They didn't have
yeah.
like a. This is my problem was they didn't have like a really clear goal.
No.
You know what I mean? Like you could say like
Even
they want to
even
unite it.
reading it, it was just like they wanted to be
Mm.
united with Ireland, I think.
They wanted to unite
They didn't
Ireland. They
even make
wanted the
that
British to get
clear.
out of Northern Ireland, but
Yeah,
like when it came down to it, they were kind of like, if there any negotiation happened, they were like, yeah, we don't really want to negotiate. And I was
yeah,
just like, well, like there was just no strategy. It was kind of just like bands of like
yeah,
people like really like secretly gathering in like pubs
yeah.
and making these plans and like going out and committing violence versus like
And basically they were saying like any involvement with Great Britain is unacceptable. So like in Ireland or in Northern
Mhm.
Ireland, Ireland is almost like a free Ireland, free of the British or like nothing else. So until like the British leave us and leave us alone and stop policing us, like we're not
Yeah.
gonna stop doing this.
And they weren't organized enough on that where like some people thought like
Yes, they
no
started
hard line,
splitting.
no
Yeah,
Britons.
yeah,
Some people were like, it's cool, just like make sure they chill. Some people like, and then
yeah.
there was no like really cohesive like
That's the
goal.
thing is I think whatever thing that happens with that, um you're gonna ultimately agree with certain people in you know, in the IRA, and then you're gonna disagree with others about how to go about it. You're gonna disagree with when to stop and when it's working. And I think that, like anything else, happened. That
It held them back, I think,
yeah,
a
that
lot.
that some people were on a different
Mm,
page, but
yeah,
so then the Price sisters. So they
right.
go into the Price sisters after they do that a little bit of a setup, and they start just kind of like do a few chapters on like the Price sisters, and basically,
They're pretty much the two. Dolores Price and was probably the number one main character,
yeah.
and maybe Brandon Hughes.
And I think their dad was in the IRA, but it was also a weird thing with the IRA that like you wouldn't talk about that you were in the IRA even with your kids. So like there was one thing that he talked about where there was like a dad that was in the IRA
Yeah.
and then like his son was in the IRA and his dad was in charge of like explosives and his son was like in charge of like bombing things.
Hmm.
And like the son wouldn't go to the dad to get the explosives. He'd have to go to his friend to then ask his
He'd
dad.
be like, "Yo, do you know if my dad has any explosive?" Like,
Yes,
actually,
yeah, because like he couldn't ask him because like the dad and the son pretty much neither of them would admit that they were in the IRA, which pretty cool. Like kind of cool.
I like that a lot.
I
I
like it.
wrote that down too.
Yeah. Um so
It's
then the Price sisters they go to Jerry Adams
they start
and
young. They're like 18. They kind of get
yes.
involved in like this protest, and like their aunt got like maimed at some bombing or something that like a British people or soldiers did, and she was like blind,
So they were
and
like
they
full
grew up with
believers,
her, I
yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Um, and they were super close, and then they would like have to like help their aunt like essentially do every single thing, and
Yeah.
they kind of got like turned off, yeah,
Indoctrinated.
adoption,
Yeah.
thank you, by the situation, and they went to some protest, and I think they got like assaulted essentially by someone, and
Yeah.
then they were like, oh,
We're in.
we're in, like
Yeah.
we're going big time,
And
and they were
not
like
just like
18,
yes,
they
and
were
not
young.
just like in, but like there was like a woman's ward of the IRA where the women were mainly in charge of like disposing the weapons and like things that you would assign women to.
And, but
Not me
some
personally.
not though.
Some not.
Yeah.
But they tried to put them in like that ward of like you're a woman, you're gonna
Hmm.
kind of go to that. And Dolores Price was like, no, like we want to be on the
Oh
front
yeah.
lines, yeah, like we want to be doing like
Yeah.
doing the legit shit. And they're pretty much like, all right, like you want to do that, do that. So they started like robbing banks,
So she said essentially
which is
like,
dope.
I'll join, like, and they're like, you have to obey all of our orders.
Yeah,
And then she like really took that to heart. Like
yeah,
anything they told her to do, she would do.
of course,
It's like,
yeah. Which again, like, yeah, I think it's pretty cool to be like her and
I'll
her
do it.
sister and like one other person being like rob this bank and she's
Yeah.
like no problem.
They were badass.
And they would like rob the same bank multiple times. Like they didn't give two shits.
Yeah,
And
they were responsible for like coordinating a lot of like the big bombings and stuff like that.
yeah.
And then should we
And
talk about them getting arrested?
yeah, I was gonna say like the picture of her, like the cover and the
So
what's that called? It's like a baklava.
I think that's a fish and then also a dessert.
It's a dessert.
It's both.
Yeah.
Well, bacala is a fish, baklava is a dessert.
What is the mask called where it covers like half your face?
I thought it was like a COVID mask. No,
So
but
they like call it something in here,
really,
and I see a bunch of people in Patterson wearing it. It
I
became
didn't.
really big after COVID, but they were wearing it in this and calling it by its name, which is actually pretty cool. So like,
I didn't know that was Dolores Price on the cover until I we were just talking about it earlier. I thought it was
yeah,
a guy.
so me too.
I
Yeah, I thought it was a guy as
was like, maybe
well.
that's Patrick Radden Keefe.
I would have liked that as well. But yeah, they weirdly kind of talked about like that they were like good looking, but then they showed a picture and
So
I don't
that was
know.
one problem I had with the book was like Dolores, like she was able to convince people to do certain things
Yeah,
and had like a certain charm about her, and she was so stunningly beautiful.
yeah,
And I also then had to Google. I said, let's see how beautiful this chick is.
yeah.
Not so beautiful.
No.
Not.
That was like our who was our girl that hated everything?
Mm.
Sylvia Plath.
Oh,
Where it's like I loved how much she hated everything and how she was just like hot girl mean and just like hated everything until I looked up a picture.
I thought she was okay.
Nah.
Let me hold on.
And then I looked up a picture and like I was just like, oh, like what a miserable bitch, you know? Like it just
It changes
it
everything.
changes everything. Like how good looking you are. And again,
Oh yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
yeah. And again, like standards being different in like the 1940s, 50s,
No, no, this is not standards. This is
it's not a good looking person.
regular ugly.
Yes.
It's
But
modern ugly.
if
Or
Sylvia Plath was gorgeous,
she'd love her life.
nah, I wouldn't even say that.
Dude.
But then if she hated her life, I'd just be like, it's even hotter. Like it's just like there's something weird about that, you know?
I wish we never knew what she looked like, because
I like the book a lot.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Maggie
no.
Gyllenhaal, when you think about the combo of the
That
two,
combo, the voice plus
the voice was
the story.
I
But
was
knowing how both of
fully
them look.
yes. Like if you think about her being miserable all the time but acting like she's such a hot chick, and then Maggie Gyllenhaal doing it in such a hot way, it was really
Yeah.
confusing. I yeah, I wish I didn't know what either of them looked like, but I also
Same for Dolores Price.
yes. Dolores Price though was pretty cool. I can give her a cool point. She was wearing masks and
Doing
robbing
stuff.
banks and
I feel we gotta talk about them getting arrested.
all right, so yeah, now they get
So
arrested.
they get arrested. Um, for I think like literally planning and executing on like this very large like
Like a bomb
bombing
at
of like city, and like get civilians were killed and everything like that.
yeah.
And they were tied to it, and they said they were innocent and
And
all
they were
this stuff.
sentenced to like 20 or 30 years, and they were just like, what? That's ridiculous. And it's just like, you
Yeah,
murdered a bunch of
you
people with
murdered
a
like
bomb,
40
and
people.
you've robbed like 20 banks, and
And
you're
like
upset about getting 20, 30 years. Like, I'd be fucking
yeah.
pumped about getting 30 years.
So then like they're in jail, and they're a bunch of with a bunch of other people in the IRA in jail, and like they're pissed.
So they were also in an all-male jail,
They were
which
in a
was
jail.
weird. They were the only two females in this
Yeah.
jail.
What they were pissed about, at least at some point in jail, and also some of the other people in the IRA with them, was that they had to wear prison clothes.
Yeah,
And they were like, we will not wear prison clothes. We want to wear our regular clothes because we're not like real prisoners.
yeah.
We're just like
Political prisoners.
political, like
Yeah,
in not inhabitants, but like prisoners, I guess
yeah.
is probably a better word. But so then,
Which is,
so
again,
this is where I start to like get confused. So they're like, we're gonna go on a hunger strike,
Yeah,
and he starts talking about people who went on hunger strikes in the past who did like 80 days. Sounds like holy shit.
yeah.
They start going on a hunger strike, and all they want out of this hunger strike is to be able to wear their own clothes. So this is where I get a little bit lost of like, what do these people want? Like
I thought it
you're at the
was,
negotiating table,
yeah.
so they go on this hunger strike,
They wanted to wear their own clothes, and they also, I think, wanted to be jailed in
and they wanted to move
Ireland.
to Ireland. There was like two separate
Yeah,
hunger strikes,
but again,
and I can't
that's
remember, but yes, those are the two things.
one. Yeah, that's not a completely unreasonable. Like, it's not like they're asking to be free, right? So it's like not completely unreasonable, but then it's also unreasonable from the standpoint of like, you guys are lucky you're not getting
But
the
also like,
chair.
if you're
Like, you
gonna,
murdered and bombed.
good point. But if you're gonna go on hunger strike and ask for a bunch of stuff, shoot a little higher than like
Yeah,
what clothes you're wearing.
yeah,
Like, hey, we want to be United Ireland. Like that's your whole point of this. Like,
yeah.
put that in the spotlight. So like they did these hunger strikes.
But that's ultimately, I think, why they got it.
Well, I mean,
But they got even more than that. But go ahead.
so like the news picks up on it,
So they,
and
yeah,
they're going a long ass time. Like,
they're losing all their weight. They're like pretty much
yeah,
skeletons.
weeks and weeks. Eventually,
They're like almost like bragging to each other, like the Price sisters. They're just like,
they're badass.
yeah, they're really just like fully embracing it to the point where like they're watching them literally to the point where you can like see their bones and they're just like unfazed by it. So then they have to start force feeding them because they're getting to a point where they're gonna die. So they're like, we can't let these people die in our custody, so we're gonna start force feeding them with tubes. So they go and they stick like a tube down Dolores Price's throat. I think it was her.
Yep,
And
first
then
both, but yeah,
yeah. And then she has like this horrible experience with them like sticking the tube down her throat and force feeding her food.
super like gruesome. They have
And
to like tie her down and clamp her
yes.
jaw,
Yeah.
and
And then she
it's
goes to like her sister in the prison yard and goes, "Hey, they just did this to me. They're about to do it to you. Like if you want this strike to be over, like it's over. Like I don't want that to happen to you." And then Marion Price is just like, "We're in this together."
don't care.
Yeah, don't care. Like pretty really badass.
Yes.
So then they start force feeding her, and then like they're both kind of like for a little bit like you're thinking that they're gonna go to each other and be like, "All right, that was terrible. Let's just start eating food again." And both of them are like, "We'll never stop."
Right. And they got to like it was like 200 days. Like this is like a really long time to be like in a hunger strike. And
And other people are doing it too. So like
there were a few others.
other IRA members are doing it, and apparently it's coming from like Gerry Adams that they're going to Gerry Adams, and now all of a sudden the hunger strike starts to become not just do we want our own clothes, but we want like a deal to be done.
So yeah, so on the
And like
price,
Gerry Adams will tell us when to
yeah,
stop this.
yeah. So he was like the political mastermind behind everything.
Yeah,
So he was they were kind of like letting him take the lead on like the negotiation. And
yeah,
from their point of view, he was saying like they're not budging. Margaret Thatcher, who's like a very famous like British prime minister,
yeah,
like this is like really big. It's like very much on her radar. She's
yeah,
like, I like we need to do something about these um Irish people who are hunger striking in our thing. It's like big on the news. Like, what happens if they die? Is that on our hands? Is it not in our hands?
yeah.
It becomes like this whole like moral debate that is happening. And she's like, what do they want? And they're like, I think they want to like change their clothes, which to me is still like the craziest thing to go on like a
Yeah,
300-day hunger strike to ask to like want to be in different clothes. I know you're making a statement and the whole thing is getting it in the news, but
yeah,
like so then eventually they win
yeah,
and they move them to Northern Ireland
yeah.
and they're like, yeah, you can finish out the rest of your
You can
sentence
wear your own
here. And
clothes.
I think they said you can wear your
Yeah,
own clothes, which was like a huge so, so like to me that's like
huge win.
to me, not that much of a win. Because guess what? Everything that you're fighting for, in terms of like, you want to be a united Ireland, you want British to stop discriminating against Catholics, that's still gonna happen. Like, you haven't
Yeah,
changed any of that.
no.
Maybe you shed some light on it because it's a big news story,
And this is where I
but
think
like,
I lost it a
aim
little bit.
higher with
Yeah.
your hunger strike.
But so then they go to prison, right, in Ireland. And then they're either doing another strike, which I didn't catch, or they're so sick.
They're just sick.
Yeah, they're so sick from their hunger strike that doctors are coming in and being like, they're gonna die.
Dolores, I think got so sick that they were like, we're just gonna release her. Just
Yeah,
like, whatever.
yeah. So
And
like
then
they
Marion, I think, had to stay.
so they like commuted her sentence, which is like absurd.
They did that for a lot of people where like this person's really sick, just let him out. And I was like, I
Yeah,
didn't know you could just get sick and like get released from jail. I'm
insane.
like,
Then she
what?
went on to like have kids and marry a movie star.
Yeah,
So it's like she couldn't have been that sick.
right.
And then they were just like, all right, like you can't. So she gets out and starts dating this guy, Stephen Rea,
Hmm.
who's a movie star. Maybe not a movie star, but like a play
Yeah,
star,
yeah, yeah.
like doing like plays in Ireland and then maybe eventually movies. So then there's like a weird thing in the book, just a back and forth with him, where like every time he does like an Irish movie, they're like, talk about your wife being in the IRA,
Hmm.
and he's just like, I'm not talking about my wife being in the
It's
IRA.
the
Like,
whole thing is like you cannot. The people in that area, they did not talk about it. They didn't
no.
talk about anything they did. They didn't, or it was very, very like
Weirdly though, until they did,
yeah,
which we'll get
we'll
to.
hold on that.
Yeah,
So then Marion's in prison still.
yeah,
Other one's out. This part kind of made me mad a little bit.
yeah,
I was like, these girls are so badass.
yeah,
And then the Marion's in prison and she's kind of like, well, why am I in prison still? Like, I
yeah,
don't want to have kids now. I'm like almost 30 because
yeah,
they were in prison for 10 years, but it was like their whole 20s. She's like,
yeah.
I'm wasting away like my 20s and 30s. And I was like, that is very, like, because this whole episode has been about badass women, the
But it's
Emma and the
yeah,
Priceless
it
series.
has been. But you
But it's
also like
very much girl energy to be like, I'll do anything. Like, yeah, I'll part of that. I want to be part of the
yeah.
cause. And
No, they were like
the first
the
20 years that you're in prison, you start to say, well, I don't want to do this anymore. And you
yeah,
completely flip flop on it.
which I like.
But I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
I was like, because they were so devout to it during
Yeah,
the hunger. Like, so here's my question: hunger
but
strike.
they were still
Me and you,
okay.
we have a cause.
Yeah,
How long can you make it?
book club membership on the
But
line.
we're not eating until we get 2 subscribers on YouTube. How long are you making it?
Um, so I've done it once after Siddhartha. I did,
Whoa!
yeah, so I did 72 hours.
Holy crap!
So like two and
That's
a half days,
I think
right?
that's 3 full days.
So maybe I did two and a half. Um,
Dang!
I was smoking weed during it, so there's a little bit of an asterisk there.
Does that count as like a calorie?
No, because I did look it up, like you're not actually consuming anything. Um, but like with weed, first it makes you actually not hungry. So
Fun
like,
fact.
so I did like 24 hours, and then the next day I woke up and I felt fine. Then all of a sudden, like the middle of the day hit, and I was like fucking starving. So like I was like, okay, like I gotta eat something or do something. So I like looked up if you could smoke weed, and they said yes. Like that still technically counts. Because I was still doing like black coffee, but you can still drink
Oh, you're doing coffee and water.
black coffee and water.
Okay.
And I think they even said like you could do lemon in your water or something like that. So, but then they also like when I looked it up, it was like you can also smoke weed and it's still like technically like not eating any calories.
Okay.
So, like halfway through the second day, I was so hungry. I was like, let me smoke. Totally takes away your appetite. All of a sudden, like you smoke and you're just like not hungry. But then, like
Interesting.
an hour or two later, now all of a sudden you got the munchies. Now you're starving
That was
because
so
you
my
haven't
question.
eaten.
Yeah.
Yep. So then the only thing you can do is smoke again. So
Ah.
you'd have to smoke again and smoke again. So like the second day was an absolute bloodbath. But I was able to like fall asleep and then I woke up and then I think whenever I woke up I ate like that day.
Okay. So that's pretty good.
It was good and I actually felt really good and I actually lost like a lot of like weight off of it. Like I feel like my physique like
Did some
very
like
much changed.
purification.
Yeah, I think yeah. And if I did it again, I would love to be able to do it like Dolores Price, where it's just like I'm mentally strong. I don't care how hungry I am. Like I'm not eating.
Would you strike? Would you want anything from your strike? Or you just doing it for the love of the game?
For it was more for like the Siddhartha, and it's also like apparently really good for you once a year to do like a 72-hour fast.
Herman Hesse, as an author, like the things he can get you to do.
I know.
You should have seen the things I did after uh Steppenwolf, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Literally we were talking about this morning at breakfast. like hunger striking.
Yeah.
Amy said it, and I was like, this. I wrote the same thing down. I don't think I could make it until lunchtime.
You could, but
I get so like if I don't eat for a certain amount of time, my blood sugar it feels like it's dropping, and like I feel like I'm crashing, and I get so cranky,
so
like miserable person.
I used to do the intermittent fasting and I used to do it for years. So like
So you have some experience.
yeah, so for like years I would not that long ago, probably like 5 years ago, I would drink my black coffee in the morning. I wouldn't bring a lunch to work, and then I would go to soccer. So like the first meal that I would eat was at like
Dinner?
6 o'clock at night. And I would eat from either I would eat a huge meal from like 6 to 7. I would eat a meal from like 6, and then I would eat again a snack before bed, and then I would go to sleep. And like what's crazy is like you shed so much weight. Like I was working out at the time and I remember just like going down to like I was like probably 160 and I just remember going down to like 145 and just like veiny as could be.
I think it's cool,
Yeah.
but I if I did one day where I wait till 6 p.m. to eat, I would be divorced, fired, no family left.
So
Like,
I would say that, but you also get like weirdly so used to it. But it's like
I
so
might
like
have to
the
like
first
break
like
through that
yes, the
first.
first like week or two are brutal. And like yeah, it
Oh, I thought you meant like a
week or
whole.
two.
Yeah, no food.
Yes, like and like a little bit better every day, but like when you're used to
Hmm.
eating breakfast, like you're when you wake up in the morning, your body just goes, all right, it's like it's time to eat. But when you're not used to eating breakfast, you actually don't even consider eating in the morning. The only reason I actually eat now in the morning is like the coffee's too hard on my stomach without like
Really?
something in it, yeah. Or else I wouldn't have breakfast and my first meal would probably be around like lunchtime.
I just eat after I work out. Gotta
Yeah,
replenish.
but that's so early in the morning for you.
Yeah,
But that makes
that's
sense.
what it kind of works out that
Yeah.
way. But there's all right. So hunger strikes. So you're lasting longer than me in hunger strike. So
So
if
hunger strike,
we
I think I would do well, but I think the cause would have to be so important. I would also have to build up for it. I'd be like, hey guys, I
would
need a couple of weeks here.
would you hunger strike if you wanted to change your clothes?
No. Yeah.
Same. So there's two other hunger strikes. They did one, and this is after the Price sisters. They're like, I forget, it's probably like a year or two later. They're like, we need some more hunger strikes going on.
Yeah.
They do another one, and there was like 10 guys. Like these gonna be our 10 guys that hunger strike,
Yeah.
and they all did it together. And then the one guy died, and they like let a guy die, and then the rest of them were like, oh crap,
Yeah.
like this isn't working because we're all like in this together. We're too
Yeah.
tied to each
They
other.
had to like cave in.
We had to cave. They had to cave in, which I didn't fully understand. So then they redid it.
Yeah.
10 new guys. They started 1 week at a time.
Dude, it weirdly, this book is like, so it's like 350 pages, like
Probably longer.
13. There's like
Yeah, you're right.
a lot of notes in it. But like the audio's like what, 13 hours?
Yeah, 14.
14 hours. Like it's a long book. And I think the most shocking part is if you said like, what is it about? It's about less things than deep. That was like 7 hours.
100%.
Like it's really only about like
A few
Jean
people's
McConville,
stories. Yeah.
the hunger strike, and then just like the aftermath of the hunger strike and the deal that was made. And like that's it. Like
Yeah.
it really is like there's so many different people and so many different components, but like the hunger strike, like you said, it didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Right. So then they have the 10 people going. And at first I was like, this is so lame because you're just redoing what Dolores and Marion did. Like they already
Yeah,
did the hunger strike. Like now you're
yeah.
just copying them. And the first one died, and I was like, good.
Yeah.
And then the second, and then the second round, they did it again. And I was like, oh, really, again? But they did it 1 week apart,
Yeah,
and it actually was kind of badass because so the whole time, like Margaret Thatcher's again now, like, what do we do? Do we let them die? Do we not let them
yeah,
die? All of this stuff, and then one by one, they all died.
yeah,
So like the first person died, and the next nine are on hunger strike, and they had
yeah.
1 week extra. The
To
next
like
guy knows.
deliberate.
He
Yeah,
knows like this guy just died. I'm next.
yeah,
He dies. Then the next
yeah,
person, and they still stayed on the hunger strike.
yeah,
If I see someone dying 3 weeks before me,
yeah,
and I know I have like 1 week left, I'm
yeah.
eating something.
And even like Marion Price and Dolores Price, I think they got to a point
I think
where,
like eight. I don't know if all of them died or like 8 or 9, but
yeah,
like one by one each week they all died, which is like
ridiculous.
actually kind of
Yeah.
badass. That was cool.
And even like the Price sisters got to a point where they were just like,
But
we're not gonna
sorry.
let them force feed us anymore. So they started like fighting them trying to tube them
Hmm.
and them fighting it and like fighting it like made it incredibly dangerous for the doctors trying to like stick a tube down their throat. So the doctors were just like, we can't tube them anymore.
They
They're
just
like
didn't want to do
wild
it.
creatures.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
like we
like
can't do
biting
it.
us and stuff.
Yeah, so then she was really stuck with the like Thatcher was really stuck with like, do we let Dolores Price out or do we just like let her die? Because now she's not even letting us like tube feed her.
Yeah, but again, like this, so let's say all 10 died. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah,
And then what?
I
There was
know.
no plan. There was like, all
Yeah,
right, now like 10 of our
some
strongest
bad
guys are just
press.
dead,
Yeah,
and there was some bad press, and we didn't get anything
yeah.
really out of it. So like I thought that was like a common theme where it was like just so disorganized and so unable to like d- have like a cohes there was no cohesion because it had to be so secret.
No, yeah. And then like throughout the book, it also seemed like the plan got like less and less. Whereas
Yeah,
like when
got
they started
worse.
the book, yeah, it was pretty much just
Yeah.
like we will not stop. We will not stop killing British people. We will not stop bombing stuff. We will not stop until we're free Ireland. And then all of a sudden, like by the end, it was like we will not stop till I get my own clothes.
Yeah,
You know, like,
like he came back with that
and
much.
then like even that,
Yeah.
it all of a sudden became like so. Then Gerry Adams. So all this is going on. Gerry Adams is running like Sinn Féin.
Yeah, I guess that was a political party.
Yes, which like again, pretty crazy.
So
And
they started a political party. They're like, hey,
yes.
let's get some legitimacy
And it
within
really
the
like picks
government.
up traction to the point where like all of a sudden like they're winning elections in Northern Ireland. So now all of a sudden they go from being this like rebel terrorist group to all of a sudden Gerry Adams, who was part of the IRA, although he'll never admit it, was now like the head of Sinn Féin, which was like a political party that was like winning
And he got
and
elected
like
to
in
parliament
charge. Yeah.
because they're part of the UK. So now
Yes.
he's part of parliament.
So now all of a sudden, like he gives word that there's gonna be like a almost like a treaty with Great Britain, right? That
A
like
peace agreement.
what was it called? Good Friday
Good Friday
Agreement.
deal, yeah.
So they do like the Good Friday Agreement, which then gives them a lot of the things that they were looking for, but like they're still part of the UK, they're still under British
I think it
rule.
almost gave them like nothing that they were just essentially just like we're agreeing to peace, but we're
Yeah,
not actually changing anything. We're not gonna
yeah,
like we're not gonna have any United Ireland.
yes,
We're not gonna move any British people out of
yeah.
Northern
So
Ireland.
all these people in the IRA that had given like 20 years in prison or had given up their life and like watched their friends die of hunger strikes and like literally bombed places and killed innocent civilians, like watch the person that was in charge of the IRA pretty much just like make a deal essentially for himself to become like a legitimate political party.
So they all felt backstabbed because he was like their best friend, like their
Yes.
leader, and they carried out a lot of his orders to like kill people and
Yeah.
bomb things.
So like
And
the
now he's
Price
completely like
sisters,
denying that.
yes, and then like the rest of the book is like the Price sisters and like Hughes, who was his best friend. There's a picture of him in the book, like just feeling like betrayed that like now they're like
What do we do it all
old.
for?
Yes, they're sick. They have like PTSD from like the things that they've done. They're like so ill from the hunger strikes that like didn't realize that like the hunger strikes really gave them like long-term major
Yeah,
health
it was
problems.
like hundreds of days. Like
Yes, which I guess
crazy.
makes sense that like your body
Yeah,
can't
they like
recover
all
from that.
never recovered.
They also like live longer. Like that's what's kind of crazy is like you hear people of like dying at such a young age, and then it's like these people are doing like 200-day hunger strikes.
That's what
They
we're
were like
dying for.
smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. They
Drinking.
all had drinking problems, and like
Yeah.
they were just like, yeah, like they're really sick at like 55. They're not gonna live long. It's like they made it to 55.
Yeah.
Like I gotta
Yeah.
be pumped if I made it to
With that, yeah,
55.
with that
Yeah,
lifestyle and that amount of hunger striking.
I gotta take another piss though. You're on your own.
Number two, wow. All right, well, yeah, 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 go.
Go into what?
I'm gonna start the archives.
Okay.
So a lot of the book, um, and what they find out was that they started this like archive where they had one of the guys in the IRA team up with Boston College because they wanted it to be like offshore. So they thought like everything would be safe there. And they're like, hey, like everyone here trusts you, all the people that we want to talk to, like Brandon Hughes and Dolores Price and everyone. And you interview them and record it, and we are going to put it into our archives. It's going to be a secret archive, and we're not going to release any of it until the people who gave each testimony have died. So that way each person is like protected from their own testimony, and that way we can get the information out there about like what everyone was actually doing because everything was like very, very secretive. Um, and I think a lot of what is in the book is from those archives and a lot of other like interviews that Patrick Radden Keefe did, who he did a great job like talking to everyone. Um, so you kind of in the third part, like the first two parts, you'll hear all these stories, and the third part kind of flips to like the first-hand accounts of like Brandon Hughes and what did he do. So then you kind of start to learn more and more about like, oh, who was giving orders, who was receiving orders, who was an informant, who was not an informant. Um, then you go to Dolores Price and you talk to like all these different people and you start to find out like more and more about the story and it reveals like, oh, was actually doing what at each time. Um, and a lot of it was like informants. So like everything became so secretive because no one was sure who was a rat and who was not, and it became like it almost like they strangled themselves on this because they were so nervous about it, they just kept like killing their own people. So if there was any suspicion that you were giving intelligence to the British, and there was a lot of people giving intelligence to the British, like maybe almost everyone, um, and the people in the IRA found out, like you would essentially be murdered almost instantly, and they would just like put your body in the street, or they would disappear you. Um, and then he kind of flipped back and forth between a lot of these stories and what happened to some of the people. Talking a little bit about informants too.
The Boston, did you get to that?
Yeah, so I gave the background on the
Boston College
archives.
States?
Yeah, so the archives, Brandon Hughes and Dolores, and like all the first-hand accounts. Like that's kind of like the third part of the
Yeah,
book, which is hearing those first-hand accounts and then like being able you tie back like all of the missing parts from the earlier stories because
yeah,
it's like, oh, this person gave the order, and this person did this and that.
yeah,
So you find out like a lot more as it goes, and also talks about informants
yeah.
and all the people giving like intelligence to the British and stuff like that. And they were so nervous about it that they would just like essentially kill you if they thought you were an informant.
Yeah. And it is like kind of crazy because I feel like the IRA really has that reputation, but based off this book, a lot of them were informed. Like the guy,
Everyone's informed.
yeah,
Almost everyone was an
the
informant.
guy that was in charge of killing the informants, like it was some Italian name, like
Frank
Scaglione.
Scappaticci.
Yeah, Battici, nice. He actually turned out to be an informant himself, and like they were like he's a complete sociopath and all this
He
stuff.
was the biggest informant
He
for like
was like one of the
25
biggest informants.
years.
Yeah,
And it became so intertwined that and one informant was in one group was gonna kill Frank Scappaticci,
yeah,
and then they had to like um throw that other informant off the path because if Frank Scappaticci was too valuable.
yeah,
So they had the other informant kill just like an innocent person
yeah,
and then think that he killed
yeah.
like the right
And
person.
that was pretty
Like that's
much
how
like
like cutthroat it
it
was.
was, and that was like pretty much Britain's strategy. Is I forget the guy's name who they put in charge, but he was like known for that. That he was
I
like,
wrote
yeah, like known for like in Africa, like developing these informants and then pretty much getting all
he
the information from
he
them.
trained in like insurgencies in like Kenya and like Libya and
Yeah,
stuff. Frank Liston.
yeah,
He learned in colonial upsurges in Kenya and also based his tactics off of Nazis.
yeah. So that was pretty much like his whole strategy was like getting as many informants as he can, and like it's crazy too because like some of them he really had to like catch doing something and then make them informants. But like Scapitucci or whatever his name was, literally like went to him or like them and was just like, I heard you guys are giving a lot of money for
Money.
IRA informants. Like I'd like to be a part of that. And it's like so then all of a sudden it's like all this is going on for years and years and years. People died, bombs went off, like
Right. But
it
you
wasn't
don't know the
yeah, it
you,
wasn't like 200,000 people dead like some of the wars, but it was like
hundreds,
yeah,
thousands
like
here and there, but it was like a
yes.
tight knit community.
It was.
And then so during the archives you start to find out that like, oh, Dolores Price, one of her jobs was driving the informants that they knew was an informant or thought was an informant
Yeah.
to essentially be disappeared.
Yeah.
And it would be like one of her like friends. So like
Yes.
she would just drive one of her friends, be like, "Hey, we're gonna go somewhere." Somehow convince them because she was like so freaking hot.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Sure." They would like just sit in the back seat of the car for some reason, and she would like feel really bad, but like also still like just drive them
But like
and drop
wouldn't
them
be
off
the one to
somewhere.
kill them, but like her friend would kill them.
Right. It's just like drop them off and then like no one would ever see them again. So
Yeah.
like she played an integral role and you find out more and more
At the
about it. And
end,
it kind of comes
yeah,
out that like who gave the order for that? And it was like Gerry Adams gave the order for that.
yeah.
Like he was the one behind that.
And it was like years of back and forth. So after Marion Price got out of prison, Jerry Hughes got out of prison. Not Jerry Hughes.
Brandon
What?
Hughes.
Brandon Hughes gets out of
We just talk
prison.
about how he got out of it.
How did he get out?
He is pretty cool. He snuck out in a mattress. So they hid him in a mattress and they put him in the dump and they were afraid of people trying to escape that way. So they would take a spear and
Yeah,
like put it through all the garbage bags and like all the garbage.
yeah,
But they had intelligence in the prison that said like the soldiers are getting pretty lazy with the spearing of the bags, so like they don't really spear the bags anymore.
yeah,
So like we're gonna put you in a mattress because you're too important to be in prison.
yeah,
Put him in a mattress filled with sawdust. So he's like choking, his eyes are like bleeding or
yeah,
whatever, and he can't breathe, but he's in there like all night. And they move him, they stop him at a thing for like way too long. He's like, holy crap, I'm about to it's it.
yeah,
He hears to his left a garbage bag getting stabbed. He's like,
yeah,
they had bad intelligence. He hears to his right, garbage bag getting stabbed. He's like, I have to come out of this mattress because like I'm just gonna be stabbed in the heart right now.
yeah,
Thing keeps moving. Garbage truck keeps moving. Doesn't get stabbed. He gets out. They drop off the mattress like the side of the street, and then like someone who knows is gonna be dropped off picks up the mattress, like throws it into a truck, and then he gets out that way.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Kind of cool.
Good escape from him.
I'll give him that
Yeah,
because he.
but
So during his archives, he was like old and bitter and like
yeah,
drunk and sad and being like, "What do we even do here? Like I did killed all these people and for nothing
yeah.
and all this stuff." And that was like because he was
So
best friends with Gerry Adams.
who was the guy that decided to do all this for the Boston College? So there's some guy
Ed
that
Malone,
okay. And
I
who
think.
is he?
I think he was like a historian or like
Okay. He's like, we gotta document
yeah,
exactly what's happening here, even though it was like pretty recently. Like a lot of these things are like,
in the
yeah, like
2000s
early
was like the
2000s.
so he goes and I was saying like he sends like the one guy who was in the IRA and he was everyone's friend
Yeah.
and because he also wanted to be part of it.
He served like prison
Something
time.
Malarkey or
Yeah.
I forget his
Yeah,
name.
yeah, yeah.
And he goes and he interviews the people for 10 hours and they say, "Hey, we're not going to release this until you're dead."
Yes. And he gets like big people because he was a former IRA guy that
They
kind of was in
trusted
the
him.
loop.
They wanted someone they could
Yes.
trust.
So like he gets like Dolores Price. He gets
Hughes.
Hughes, Brandon Hughes.
Brandon Hughes.
I can't come up with that first name. Brandon Hughes, and he gets some other people, and it's like so he records these tapes of them talking about their time in the IRA and all this stuff, and like just obviously if they're recording their time in the IRA, everything's incriminated. So they're talking about like bombings that they're doing. They're talking about he even gets like Dolores Price. She
And they're
starts,
incriminating each other because they're all in each other's stories.
yeah. So like she starts to talk about McConville, the woman that was abducted and killed. And because the guy interviewing her was like in the IRA and friends with her, he was like, hold on.
You sure?
Yes, like, are you sure you want to talk about this? Like, even after you're dead, this is going to be kind of a bad look that you killed this mother
For
of
your
10.
family.
Yes, and whatever involvement you had in it. And she was just like, had some time to think about it and decided not to talk about it. So at the end of the book, you kind of think that you're going to find out who killed Jean McConville, and you really don't.
You do.
Well, he suspects certain people, and he like,
Well, let's break it down.
all right, so go ahead.
So Dolores is in charge of driving the people.
Or
And
Miriam is. Wasn't it Miriam that he?
She drives the people
Oh yeah, to
to
their
like to the
disappearance.
disappearance.
Yeah,
So she's driving Jean McConville. She says, "Hey, we're gonna take you somewhere safe. We're gonna." She's like, "Is my family gonna come?" Like, we're gonna bring your
and
family.
she's part of this group called like the Troubles or the Unknowns or one of those.
Yeah, the
And
unknowns.
there's not that many people in the group, so she's part of this
Yeah.
group. So like them knowing that she did this kind of eliminates the people that could have killed Jean McConville
Yeah.
to like 4 or 5 people
So eventually in the book, it comes out that we find out from another interview that Dolores admits to driving Jean McConville
to her death.
to wherever it was last time, she was seen.
But she also admits that she wasn't the one that delivered the shot, that she
And
purposely missed her shot on
and
purpose.
if you want to jump ahead a little bit.
Sorry.
So then, so then there's
Like I
all
can't have you besmirching Dolores Price like
so in the like this is like 25 years later. There's all these like excavation projects to try to find the remains of these people that got disappeared. So
yeah,
they keep finding these remains of, and it ends up being someone else. And then the 10 children are like, they get their hopes up, like we're gonna get some closure on what happened to our mom. And then it's, oh, this is actually Joe Linsky.
yeah.
Like, oh, we don't care about Joe Linsky. We
No.
wanted to find our mom. And it kind of keeps going on and on. And eventually you find out that, um, from Dolores's own words, that it was, she dropped off Jean to be disappeared. And there was a group of people that did the disappearing. So there were people who killed, and
And they were all part of like this
they
group
got
called the
to they were
Unknowns.
like, we essentially after a few days of being with her, the mom, they're like, we can't do this,
Yeah,
like we don't want to kill this mom, like, so now the unknowns, who we know one of them is Dolores so far, they're like, okay, like we have to do this now.
yeah,
And there's three of them. One of them is Dolores Price, one of them some other guy, I forget his name,
yeah.
and one of them's unknown right now.
Well, the other one was Marion Price, wasn't it? Was that
You want
unknown
to
at the
jump?
Yes. I'm
uh,
just so pumped that I actually picked
yeah,
up on
no,
a few of these
because it's
things.
the in the chapter's called unknown, so it goes. Um, So, which I thought was
So
cool.
these
He
three
goes,
people, and then they
"Hey, we have
give
to
like
kill
a
her.
hint,
We
right?
have to." So in firing squads, I didn't know this, that they have one of the soldiers they give blanks to,
Yeah,
so that way each soldier can tell himself like my one was probably the blank. Like I wasn't the one who killed this person.
yeah,
So they tried to do something similar, which was really not the same thing at all. But
because there was only three people.
right, there was three of them. They're like all three of us shoot her.
Yeah,
We won't know which one was the fatal blow.
yeah,
So what they did was with all of them was they put them on their knees, covered them,
yeah,
covered the head, right in front of the grave, so they would just fall right in.
yeah,
And then went like one, two, three, shot, shot, shot.
yeah,
So then, yeah, you're right. Dolores shoots, purposely misses,
yeah,
so that way, because she's like, I can't, yeah, she couldn't do it.
yeah.
Other guy shoots, and then, oh, I forget exactly what happened with that one. And then the
He might
third
have had the
shot,
blank.
and she didn't say what the third shot was.
Yeah,
But then, like, where did the order come from?
yeah,
Gerry Adams.
yeah.
Gerry Adams is a political guy. They said, all I'm gonna say is it was, um, the third person that was with us in the shooting was someone that Gerry Adams asked to be their driver
That was like in one of the
that
tapes.
said no.
So in like the
So
Boston
then he's
College
like,
tapes,
how many people did he ask to be a driver that said no? I can
yeah,
find this. So he keeps digging, keeps digging. Eventually, found like that other interview from
in
the
the
Ed
Boston
Maloney
College
guy.
tapes. Okay, yeah, yeah.
They put with the Boston College
And
tapes.
just like randomly in there, Miriam was talking about how
He asked,
he asked her to be a
yeah,
driver.
and he's like, how did I not think that their sister? They're so close that they wouldn't be doing
But
this together.
again,
So
not if I'm Marion Price's lawyer,
yeah,
you proved absolutely nothing.
I took it as like Marion Price shot the shot, but also like they're
See,
all guilty of like every
yes,
single thing that
yeah.
they are,
Also, like, yeah,
like who, they're all guilty of it.
you're right. It was a weird kind of like who who did this one horrible thing when like the
They're all
entire
just
book they were
they
doing
killed like
horrible
50 people
things.
each. Like who
Yeah.
cares who killed this one
Like she
person?
bombed a courthouse and killed 12 civilians in Great Britain. Like I think that's far worse than
Yeah, the mom.
killing a woman who also was trying to kill herself that
Right.
was like may or may not have been a snitch.
Yeah.
So it's like it was that
Mm.
part to me was a little bit weird that it was so much focus on the Jean McConville thing.
Yeah, I guess like part of it just under the load, like the
I didn't
story
mind it. You got to focus
of
on something.
like the kids, like she had
Yeah.
10 kids and now they're like have to fend for themselves.
They
And there's
all
some
grew
stories about
up
the
effed
kids.
up, yeah.
They're all effed up. They have to go into like different orphanages and like
And the
all this stuff.
orphanages, they were treated poorly because they were Catholic instead of
You
Protestant,
pretty much have to be
and their
a
mom was a
rapist or a
snitch. Yeah,
pedophile to like run an orphanage in
yeah,
1960 in Ireland. Like
yeah.
you're not actually doing that for like regular philanthropy. Um, and then I guess the only other thing is that on the Gerry Adams, like you find this all out, and it's like, oh, who gave the order? Like Gerry Adams,
Yeah,
and he's a politician. He's denying everything,
it's crazy. He comes
and
out to look the worst in this entire
and all
book.
these people like Dolores Price and Brandon Hughes are like, what the f? He gave us all the orders, and eventually they find out that during the hunger strikes
And
with
he's not only
Dolores,
denying the orders, he's denying ever being in the IRA.
Ever even being part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, like he
He,
says he's never
yeah.
been a part of the IRA, he's never given an order. And meanwhile, it's like you have these people that are like really high up in the IRA, like Dolores Price
Yeah.
and Hughes that have like served a long time being like very clearly on these tapes, like Gerry Adams, yeah, he was the head of the IRA.
And then they tie it back to the hunger strike because he was in charge of the negotiation. He said, "We're getting nothing here." Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
They had a deal.
yeah,
They had the right deal. He didn't tell them because they were getting such good press, and he thought it would be good for the cause if the hunger strike kept going.
yeah,
So like he let people die in the hunger strikes, and he let Marion and Dolores suffer
yeah,
purposely for political reasons, which is
yeah.
literally insane.
It is,
And
but
then
it's
they found this out after the fact, and are like,
yes,
"Yo, what the f?"
yeah. It's and like he does mention it a few times though throughout the book that he says like, you don't know how much of this is like bitterness from like Marion Price or Dolores Price
Oh
or
yeah,
Hughes that they all ended up pretty much alone, alcoholics,
yeah.
PTSD,
And they were like, "We didn't get
very
anything.
bitter.
We
Yeah.
got nothing from doing any of it.
Yes.
We killed people, and we got nothing."
Yeah. And they
Um,
all kind of just like blame Jerry Hughes. So like there's definitely an element of like bitterness to
but
it.
even with like, because a lot of was unclear with like Jean McConville, like Dolores and Brandon Hughes were like, she was 100% an informant. She had the radio.
Yeah.
We warned her. Then the next week she had another radio, and then eventually like they were like, that story doesn't make any sense. And then he
Yeah.
kind of dove into it, and he was like, that actually probably is 100% what
Yeah.
happened. So she did seem like she probably was some kind of informant, but
That's the thing is like at the end of the book, it was a lot like
it's like,
chaos, where it was like he laid out
like,
all the facts, which I like,
yeah,
but then you can't say 100% Marion Price killed Jean McConville. You can't say
not a
100%
hundred.
close,
Yeah, you get close.
80s, 90s.
Yeah,
You can't 100% say Gerry Adams was in the IRA,
yeah.
80s, 90s.
You can only say based on like what other people say.
Yes. So it's like there
But
wasn't a lot of things where it was like holy shit, we figured this out, you know?
yeah.
Like it was and like the Boston College tapes are crazy to me. So it was pretty
Oh
much
yeah.
like
Tapes. The best.
this guy decided, I guess like a historian decided, like we need this on record before these people die and all of a sudden we like lose all this information about the IRA and the troubles and what caused all these bombings. So we're gonna do some like historian type shit and get records from the people that were actually involved. So he goes to someone, what was the guy's name? The jack guy that was in jail that did the interviews?
Some like Malarkey, McKeever,
Something like that, yeah.
McInnes.
Yeah, definitely.
Shame.
Definitely one of those. And he has all these IRA connections, so he starts doing these interviews with like really big people that were part of this and
Top
like
dogs.
top dogs. So then they go with the promise to them that we won't release these tapes until after you're dead, so you never have to worry about them coming out. You never have to worry about facing prosecution. We're just like historians looking for a historical account. Eventually, the governments find out that they have these tapes. Ireland finds out, and Great Britain finds out, and the United States finds out. So now all of a sudden you have this like pressure from Great Britain pressuring the United States
They're like, because they're now
in Boston College. Yeah.
incriminating each other on like real active political cases of like missing people, like Jean
And
McConville,
meanwhile, like these
and they're
people
getting
are,
subpoenaed for
yes,
information.
exactly. And meanwhile, like these people are free at this point. Like Hugh served his 20 years or 30 years or whatever he got. He's 50 something years old and he's totally free.
The best
Marion,
part was that they didn't decide in advance. They're like, we're not going to release it until they're dead.
yeah,
They didn't decide if it was like after each person dies or after all of them are dead. So
yes.
then like Brandon Hughes dies, and then they release his tapes, and then he's talking all
He's
stuff
like
about stuff that
incriminating
Dolores
other
Price
people.
does, and they're like, oh, we
Yes.
need a subpoena for her tapes now,
Yes.
and it was a complete mess.
And some of these people are getting really old. So all of a sudden, when tapes start getting released, like Scaporci or whatever his name is,
Scappaticci.
Scappaticci, he's like 80 years old. Or like one of the other guys, like Tony or Yvonne or something like that, was like 80 years old.
Yvonne.
Yvonne,
Sounds Irish.
it does. But they're like 80 years old, so they're like trying to prosecute these people now when they're like 80 years old, and they're like they're too sick like to even go to prison, get out for being too sick
Get a jail
because
free
we
card.
yeah we know that that works, and they want no part of that. So it's like it was just like really messy at the end, and it was really
Mm,
messy with them saying like, we promised these people that these tapes wouldn't be released, and now we're getting like governments coming in and saying you have to release this, and then we have to go back, and the governments are saying,
mm.
hey, you should have never made these promises. Just gets really messy.
Yeah, they kind of just did not think it through at all, and it became like a whole legal battle and thing.
Yeah.
And then like everything came out.
Which like I don't know how I feel about that. Like I think I kind of feel like
I wanted to root for the Catholics, but it's like, yo, you killed like civilians
I
for no
know.
reason. You didn't know.
And also, if you get someone to talk about something they did 30 years ago and they haven't been committing crimes in the last 20 years, because either A, they've been in prison, or like B, they're just like way too old now. It's like at a certain point, if you're talking about something you did when you're like 18 years old or 16 years old when you're 50, like at a certain point, I don't know. I just think like,
You know what I say? Lock them up. Well, I guess it depends on what it is. Like, imagine you murdered someone 20 years ago, and
yeah,
then 20 years later, you're like, yeah, I murdered that guy, and his family's like, yo, what the F?
yeah.
You'd be like, no, he was actually a long time ago. So, you know, like we're gonna let him chill.
That's tough.
But like,
I felt like in this context,
it
though, is a
made it
little
seem
bit
like they were
different.
the good guys, but he did a good
They
job
were
of not being
they
too
thought they were like,
one-sided.
you know what it reminds me more of is like a war, where it's like they really thought that they were like their own country fighting another country, and then they're going back 30 years ago and being like, hey, you committed war crimes that you're now
Different.
admitting to. So it felt like a little bit
The only
like
problem was that
that.
all the people they killed were like their best friends that were like
I
on their
know.
own side.
It's a bad look, which is why people aren't gonna
Yeah.
go and defend them, but
But yeah, I mean, biggest takeaway is Dolores Price, not a babe.
not a babe.
Not a babe.
Really misleading
She
babe.
did die, so, RIP in all respects.
Yeah.
And I was hoping for more when I Googled it. I got a little excited. I said, oh, okay, hold on. We got a Irish babe coming.
Yeah,
Nah.
no.
Brandon Hughes didn't look that tough.
No. Him and Gerry Adams. Do you see a picture of him in here?
I didn't see the ones in here. I did want to
Um,
see.
you
I
looked him
Googled
up.
Brandon Hughes because I was just interested, like, what do you look like? Because he described their
He's like the muscle.
right, yeah, he described their appearance so much. I was like interested. Um, he looked a little frail. He looked
He's
a little
short
short.
too. Yeah.
So I think a lot of his tactics were um, a lot of guns and bombs
Should have
related.
thought it was better there. Whatever price sister that is. Man.
Okay,
Yeah.
was that both of them?
Yeah.
All right.
A little bit better.
Yeah, I'll for black and white, I'll allow it.
Yeah.
But for what they did,
But then you see here, these are the mug shots.
see, not so much.
Not babes.
Not bad. Yeah, show the camera. Give us a comment if you think they're pigs or not. If you made it to the 2 hour 46 minute mark, let us
But
know if you think Dolores Price is Marion Price of Babes.
oh, here it is. So that's Gerry Adams, and that's
It,
Brendan Hughes.
Jerry Adams looks like a hippie, and Brandon Hughes looks, I don't even know,
They
like
both seem like just like good Irish dudes.
looks like guys from the 60s with like mustaches
Yeah, and
and
long hair.
yeah, long hair.
I guess that's the thing though, is like you can't, especially
Eh,
bombers. That's the thing, is like they're not doing this hand to hand combat. Like, what does a bomber look like?
that.
That frail,
Short with the
short with a
mustache.
mustache.
Yep. Um, yeah. I don't think I had much else on this one. It was a little confusing. Overall, like I struggled early in the book to kind of follow, and then I did enjoy like the back half more.
I did too.
Um, Overall, I'd say I was really excited for it, especially knowing this Patrick Radden Keefe. And I don't know if I wish it was like better or not,
Yeah.
or there was just more there. Like it was a really good book. Like I really liked it. It just didn't like, it didn't blow me away, and it didn't like.
I feel like he kind of did the same thing he did with the Empire Bane with the Sacklers, whereas like he dives really deep. Like he's a great researcher. this
Yeah,
guy, and like we love books with great researchers. I think the research that he found in this book just maybe wasn't as compelling as the research that he's found in other books, where
just
it's just maybe not as like interesting or
relatable maybe
shocking.
because it's like further away or
Yeah,
like
but he talks about like the tar and feathering of like women who cheated with like Irish people with British shoulder
mm,
soldiers and um like I said in that, like part of me is just kind of like you guys got to stop start leaving your own people alone. Stop murdering Jean McConville and like tar and feathering like random
they're just fighting their own
women. Yeah,
people the whole time.
yeah. And like maybe you get more done. What else I got here?
I did have a note on the
Uh,
laundries. So like the British had like an intricate spy system on the laundry. So like all the Irish people in Belfast, they would put their laundry into this thing,
yeah,
and they would go to get washed, and then the British actually controlled the laundry, so they would inspect all the clothes. So they would look at all the clothes and be able to tell what people are doing. So they would see if there's like traces of explosives on clothes. They know like, okay, this
pretty
person
smart.
obviously is making explosives
Yeah,
and all this stuff, and like that made me root for the British.
yeah.
And I'll never root for the British after Unruly,
No,
but I was like,
that's
that's
a pretty cool
pretty
move.
cool. We actually have
Yeah,
two books about the Irish laundries. I
yeah.
don't know if it's that. I think it has more to do with like abusing women, but more to come if we ever get to those books.
All right. Um, Gerry Adams, I said, just is such a scumbag, just a classic politician for me.
Yep,
Uh,
100%. I mean,
And
same
then
as any politician we have here,
as
you
my
know?
next note, it says, try not to go on a rant about how big of a scumbag all politicians are.
Yep,
So I'm
yeah.
sure I
I
went
did
on a
that when you were
little
peeing.
one. Yeah. Touts, touts,
Touts,
snitches,
informants. Also, Freds
informants.
are informants. And I had two different notes that said Freds are informants and Touts
Yeah.
are
Kind
informants.
of like both of
Different
them.
parts of the book.
Yeah. Also, how cool is the nickname Wee Pat McClure?
We Pat,
Wee
yeah.
Pat. Like if I know a
Mm,
Pat, and we do know one Pat.
we do.
Like
I
if
don't
he's
think
not
you
gonna
like.
be Wee Pat, I don't want to say his name.
Yeah, we Pat. It's a great Irish nickname.
Um, and then I think we pretty much touched on everything. 41 years later, Gerry Adams was arrested for the death of Jean McConville because of the tapes, but he ended up getting off without any
Yeah, like
charges
all
being
the stuff that
filed.
came out, like no one else ever really got arrested. They all kind of got off.
Yeah, because it is like it's like I think his lawyers pretty much were just like she's bitter about serving all this time in prison, and I
Yeah.
don't know. Then my next note is like, what are your thoughts on trying people for crimes that happened like 30 years ago? Where do you draw the line? And I said like an IRA member that murdered someone versus like a police officer that killed an IRA man as an order. It's like I feel like that gets really dicey. It's like a little bit like the Nazi thing where it's like if I'm in charge of you,
Nice.
your job is to listen to me. And if
I'll
I
I'll
tell,
obey. I'll do anything.
yes, and if I tell
I'm
you,
all about that.
yes, and if I tell you to do something illegal and then you do it, you're just following orders.
Right.
And then 30 years later, we get taken over by another country and they decide that the orders that I had you carry out were unacceptable for them.
Right.
Now all of a sudden they're trying to put you in prison, but like for you, it's like
That's my orders.
yeah, you're just
I didn't,
following
I
orders.
didn't do nothing. I just strangled a couple of ducks.
Yes. So I think that is like a bit dicey that like with the IRA thing, like I agree with you. We're not talking about some
Like
random
a
guy,
murder.
yeah, killing some random person because he's a serial killer and like that needs to be. We're talking about a group of people that essentially were their own country, Northern Ireland, that were essentially almost at war with another country, you know,
Again,
it's
I
dicey.
completely agree with what you're saying. The only other wrinkle is like a lot of it was on the same side. So now
Yeah.
let's add a third person into your hypothetical.
Yeah.
Let's call him Ben.
Okay.
Let's say you're in charge of me.
Kill
Let's
him.
let's say you're in charge of me and Ben, and you
Hmm.
go to Ben and you say you have to kill Paul,
Yeah,
and then Ben says sure. Ben does it
of course, Glenn would.
because he would. 20 years later, is that still cool? Because like we were all a team. I thought we were like chilling. Like And
So
like, say like my
That's a
family is like,
McConville. You're talking McConville.
my family's like, yo, we were friends with Ben. We
Yeah,
were friends with Steve.
yeah,
It wasn't like they weren't our enemy.
yeah.
That's where it gets tricky.
But that's being mainly led by Great Britain instead of Northern Ireland.
Well, then you go to the next layer where it's like if they weren't persecuting the Irish in Northern Ireland and being Catholic, then they wouldn't have to kill their best friends that
Yeah,
live next to them because they helped the British shoulder.
it-
So like you can try to peel back the layers and see like how it started,
yeah,
but eventually you get to remember they're fighting because Catholics and Protestants, one of them likes the Pope, one of them doesn't. At a certain point, you have to be like, hey, let's just be neighbors.
pass is
Let's
a
be
pass.
neighborly.
Yeah,
The Pope is the Pope. If you like him, I like the Yankees, you like the Mets, like we could probably be neighbors,
yeah.
you know? Should we kill each other? Probably not. I don't know.
They probably
Maybe.
just needed a couple of conversations like that. That would have been fun.
Just be like, hey, you like the Pope? Like, yeah, like,
Yeah,
all right, yeah, I don't. Okay, cool.
yeah. Not a
Sure.
fan,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Like, okay.
yeah.
But
No, that is.
that's what that like underlying part made it so hard for me to really understand like fully what's going on for these people.
Yeah. I also think that it's like this is something that comes up a lot where it's just like it's so easy to criticize people of the past for the actions that they've done without actually having lived in that era. And I feel like it's
You can't relate.
so, yes, it's so easy to look back and be like, oh, like Dolores Price bombed the courthouse and killed 12 innocent people, and she's admitting to it on a tape and she's out of prison. Like, yeah, put that bitch in prison. Like, that's unacceptable. But it's also just like, that's taking into like no account of what life was like for people in Northern Ireland during that time and like the conditions that they were under and like the British rule that they
Well,
were
that could
under.
really spiral.
It really can.
You
And it
feel like, oh, this person in this city, they're a little poor right now. They need something, and they kill these people because of the system.
I
Like you
know.
could, it's a. I agree with what you're saying. It's just like I don't know,
No, and
what
it
you're right.
is like that same thing I think is going on now 100%. But I also think it's like I think about it more from like historical times where it's
Mm,
just like Great Britain tries to put a tax on us, like a sales tax to buy tea, and we were just like, let's murder them all.
F no.
Yeah,
And now we're like, oh, you want to like charge every single thing, sale, tax every single thing that we do? Like
yeah,
we're like, sure.
yeah. We're just
Like,
like, no problem.
how did we come so far?
That's a conversation for another day,
Yeah,
but I totally agree with you. It's
you're right.
utterly ridiculous how like our ancestors would be rolling over in their graves. Like,
I'm like afraid to invest money because I'm gonna have to like pay tax on it eventually. And
it's
like maybe it's
horrible.
just easier to not invest. It's like what?
Yeah. It's
Horrible.
it's shocking. But
Should we rate?
let's rate.
I had a number coming in. I'm gonna stick with it. I overall like it's a great book. It's so detailed. I'm glad I learned a lot about this topic.
Yeah.
It's not like a blow you away kind of book. Where I wouldn't like just recommend it to. I wouldn't say like I'd recommend Deep before recommending this book,
Yeah.
just because Deep is like it's an easier read and a wider audience probably would enjoy it
Yeah.
because it's like fun. But at the end of the day, good book. Um, and I'm gonna give it, I think, what it deserves at a 4.5.
4.5. Wow,
Yeah.
nice. I actually went dual 4.4s on both books.
Okay.
Like I
I
thought
I was debating between 4.4 and 4.5.
so I actually agree with you with Deep that I like had an easier time getting through Deep. I had an easier time listening to it. I enjoyed it probably more. I thought it was more interesting in almost every way, but I almost think I did what you said, which is I penalized it. That's the gang.
Bike gang. Only one bike though for this game.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Um, I almost like penalized it from the standpoint of like we've already done breath. So I just like
Because this was nothing like
it
Empire of
wasn't
Pain.
life changing.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like for the
Yes.
two authors,
I
it's
agree.
you know.
So I thought that this though, like as much as I like don't think it's a life-changing book, it doesn't put a constant smile on my face when I'm reading it.
Deep
It
did.
deep more so did, I agree. But I will say like I've really enjoyed it. and I like couldn't wait to talk about it on book club. Like I was more excited to talk about this book than I was Deep because I
Really
feel like I understood Deep and I got
different
it.
reasons, yeah.
Yes, and like whereas this like I felt like I couldn't wait to talk to someone about the IRA and like Dolores
This
Price
was like
and
I need to help understanding it
part of
versus
it.
Deep was like I'm just
Yes,
excited to like talk
like
about it.
know about this. Yeah,
Yeah, just like yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So that puts us at
4.45. I
yeah,
think that's right.
and I think that's right.
I think those are two exactly perfect ratings. That's why you have two people
We
rate.
always come back.
Yeah.
We come back to the right thing
Works.
because Deep is a better book,
Yeah.
but is it like
It's
much better?
it's hard to say because they're just
No.
so different. Like one's like,
Yeah.
historical deep dive on a certain topic, like
I also think audio versus book, I think that would change it a little bit too.
100%.
I think if I did more reading, like had I not been the thing with the audiobooks is it's so nice to have an audiobook when you're like trying to like do some chores.
Walking, driving, dishes, and
Yes.
literally anything you can be listening to a book. It's
Like
so
I had
nice.
the pool that week, so I was constantly skimming the top of it and like listening
Oh
to
my
say nothing while you're
God.
skimming the top of the pool is just like
If AI wants to come over take our jobs and I
yeah,
can just listen to books and skim
skim
pools,
pools.
I'm good.
Same. So like that I think had an effect as well. And then like other times it's like now I'm sitting out by the pool reading this book,
That's also awesome.
getting some color, like
Also
yeah.
awesome. The
So
hard
like
copy, it's underrated.
and set and setting, like we gotta talk about
We got to
that.
do more Michael Pollan.
We do. Like it actually matters. I think like the context of where and how easily you listen to the book. Having a hard copy and an audiobook, I think automatically bumps it up.
10 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, completely agree.
So yeah, this wouldn't be one that would be the first one that I would recommend to someone else. In fact, Lauren actually tried this book. I think she tried an audio and was like she didn't understand it, which makes me feel so much better.
I mean, we got it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she'll get it one day.
Yeah.
We got it right away.
I mean, I wouldn't say right away. Like
No, I
I
still
had
don't
to
get
do,
it.
yeah, I had to do some Google
It's not a
searches
girl
as
book.
well. Yeah,
Like it's not like I see girls not caring about this or liking like well girls don't usually like a World War II book or like history
I think
usually.
you also weirdly need to have someone else reading at the same time to like bounce some ideas off of like, hey, what are you picking up about this? Like, can you explain like what the
It makes it so
IRA
much
is?
better.
It makes it so
It's
much
only
better. And
wow.
you need it a little bit
Imagine
in
reading a
this.
book by yourself.
Like if I've read this book and then could only talk to people that haven't read this book, I would just be like I wouldn't know what to say. Like other books I can read.
Dude, I'm lost at parties. I go up to someone, I'm
Yeah.
like, these freaking Irish, right? And they're
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what are you not reading to say nothing? Like,
Yeah.
not even.
It's IRA. You don't know who Dolores Price
Yeah,
is?
Dolores Price, man. Come on. They're like, dude, what?
But it's also like I wanted to be like, what did you get from this? And like, what team are we on? And
Yeah,
that matters.
it matters.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on the wrong team.
No, me neither.
Damn.
No, like sometimes I read and I'm not sure what team to be
I
on.
want to come out on top.
Yeah.
All right, should we let's wrap it up here
3 hours.
at the 3:01 mark? That's beautiful.
I feel like that's actually perfect from us. That's our
that's
sweet spot.
really nice. This is a sweet spot here.
That's when you know you
Mm,
actually have two really good, highly
yeah,
discussable
we're
books.
gonna put this out. We're gonna pick some books. We're gonna make some shorts,
Love it.
I think, right now, and we put those out as well. I think those were a big hit last time based on the viewership.
Could
That
be
was awesome.
bots.
Could be, but according to AI, it was not bots
Okay.
because you can see how much people watch and engage in each short,
Yeah,
and we had like a 60% like watch rate or something, and it
that's
was like
pretty
it's not
good.
bots. I don't know why people watched it or liked it at all, or
No,
if they did, but
I think what I
mm,
want from this is not to ever become like any sort of famous whatsoever,
no.
but it's actually to get other people interested in book clubs, not even to join our book club, but to join other book clubs.
Just join book clubs and maybe
Maybe think about
I don't
joining
want to be
ours.
the IRA, not just hunger strike for clothes.
Yeah,
I'd like this. I don't think it's too big of an ask.
yeah,
One more subscriber.
same.
Get me to two, because one was as big as you can get.
You know what I
I don't think you
think?
can get bigger than one, but maybe I'm getting a little greedy.
Yeah.
Asking for two.
No, I
That could
know.
be cool though.
We also went the entire episode without mentioning Kyle. which
Whoa.
was might be a first time, but I was also like thinking back to like the call thing and thinking like I think what bums us out the most about the call thing is if we just picked decent books, we wouldn't be a book club of two. We'd be a book club
Three.
of three.
If we had
Like,
to call read deep, it's that
yes.
easy. We could just had him read
If
deep
this, yes, if like these books, if he had
and say
read
nothing.
Deep
You
and Say Nothing this week, he'd be in the book club.
he'd say, "I don't care. I just
Yeah,
had children. I'm
yeah.
coming over."
But instead, we've given him some of the worst books ever, and I think that's what keeps bringing us back to Call is like
We
we
want to
know
get
that
him.
yes, we know we've really let
He's
him
the big
down.
fish.
Yes, we've let
We
him
want to
down with
reel
the
him in.
book choices, and
We'll get him.
we'll get
We'll get him.
him.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Hopefully, this recorded.